Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another weekly Wednesday live stream with the Insiders. I'm Peter.
Yeah, my name is Eric. Again.
You know us. Yeah, exactly. You know us. I was actually supposed to be here last week because, of course, it was also about a graphics card, Seahawk. But unfortunately, precautions. I had some complaints, some cold, like a runny nose and stuff like that. So I had myself tested and awaiting the results. So unfortunately, I couldn't join the stream then. Eric filled in for me. Thanks again for doing that.
If I can break stuff.
Give me a bro fist. There we go. Yeah. Good enough. But as you can see, we're still not like physically sitting next to each other. Again, social distancing. We do take it quite seriously. Thank you for joining the stream, guys. Today we're going to be talking about, of course, there's no other thing to talk about today, right? It's this thing. It's the here we go, RX
a bit dark.
6700 XT. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think you can see it, right? Yeah. And, as the title of the stream says, it's the return of the TWIN FROZR. Because, as you will see later on in this stream...
I think they can see it's on there.
Yeah, I know, it's like... We've got two of them, But, for this GPU, we don't actually have a tri-FROZR. We don't have a gaming X-Trio. We chose to go with a dual fan gaming card, and as you will see, that's more than enough to cool this card, this GPU. As I said, thanks everybody for joining. I hope this is going to be a really nice stream. Hope you guys can get all the information you want. Right off the bat, we're not going to be talking about pricing. We're not going to be talking about availability.
We can talk about pricing.
The thing is, there's no point.
That's true.
There's literally no point.
Yeah.
It's out of our control. It's out of control. I think is maybe a more accurate way of saying it. But yeah, there's nothing we can say to you that will create more clarity at the moment or provide any sort of way that you can easier get your hands on one of those cards. No. So we kind of just want to focus on the product itself and, like you, hope that it will improve soon. So let's focus on the product itself. And today we also have a giveaway. Actually, we're giving away quite a few of copies of Watch Dogs Legion, the game, which I'm also going to be showing on this very card later on in the stream. So you can go to msi.com/2/insider, as you can see over my head there. There you will find a button that says participate in the giveaway or go to giveaway, and then you have to perform a few actions. The more actions you perform, the better your chance of winning. It's like it's an accumulative point system. So the more points you have statistically when there's a random draw in the back end of the Gleam system, which we use to draw the winners, you'll have more chance to win. It's as simple as that. Yeah. If you are a regular viewer, you will be able to use loyalty claim loyalty points, which are basically just extra points, free points, because, if you watch our stream more often.
I see a lot of regulars in the chat, so please let us know how many loyalty bonus you get, because we know a lot of people already joining us each week for like months, maybe already years. It's possible. And if you are getting the top tier of the loyalty bonus, then we need to expand.
See no one on. By the way, also just to reiterate, guys, maybe some people are new, but we stream on multiple channels at the same time. So YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and 2 instances of Periscope or Twitter, basically. And all of that for us, the chat is all compiled into one friggin' scrolling screen. So we try to keep up with it. But we see, for example, no one on Twitch is saying, I just got my second loyalty bonus. Congratulations, well done. Yeah. But it's interesting to see. And I think it also, when we activated it, it also what do you say? If you were watching already for a long time, it didn't start counting from that point on. If you were already participating in our giveaways for quite a while, it would retroactively, that's the word I was looking for, count those ones as well. So you could already pretty much start, if you were here from the beginning, with almost the highest level of loyalty bonus.
CJ Beal plus 5 loyalty bonus.
CJ Beal is one of the names that we've seen here for a long time indeed. One of the regulars. But yeah, there are a lot of you guys there, so pretty cool.
Why do all my MSI components die?
Oof.
Good question.
What do you feed them?
Yeah. Well, Sergeant Pigeon.
Good question. I have no idea. Usually they have pretty good reliability, so, well, not pretty good, excellent actually.
September 2018, yeah, wow. That's possible.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so Peter,
yes.
let's unbox something. Do we have something to
unbox? I
mean,
as you can see here, I've got a system on the table, which later on I will tell you a little bit more about. But I mean, of course, the card that you see here is the MSI Radeon RX 6700 XT Gaming X.
I think everybody knew this was coming, right?
Well, yeah. But the whole system is an AMD system. So there's a B55 gaming carbon Wi-Fi.
Those
I think
names,
that's it, right? Yeah.
We need to have a meeting about those names.
Oh,
too long.
Man, yes, I guess. You know, graphics cards aren't doing so bad when it comes to names yet. No, but indeed, you know, our monitors, our motherboards, sometimes they get a bit out of control. But you know, you need to.
I have a meeting together with Japlan tomorrow with our HQ team about our monitor names. So drop ideas in the chat, guys.
Yeah, if you guys have any specific ideas.
Do they need to become longer, stranger?
Yeah.
I guess shorter.
Yeah. But yeah, so we're going to be showing you some live gameplay. Obviously, I think 2 hours ago, like almost 2 hours ago, the first media reviews appeared online for this card. So you got actual, you know, of course, when at the beginning of this month AMD announced the card, they announced their own version of what kind of performance you can expect. But the media, of course, will do their own tests with, you know, a whole range of games. So that gives a bit more, maybe like a nuanced picture, I guess, of what you can expect. But yeah, a whole lot of interesting stuff we're going to show you. Also going to be talking about SAM, or Smart Access Memory, which is the AMD's version. Well, they pretty much first announced it, of the resizable bar, which NVIDIA has now also, of course, with the 3060 enabled. And we should have a pretty good example of what that can do. So really interesting as well.
Did you test it? No. So I mean,
theoretically, we should, like, you know, I'm just going into it like one of you would, as you know, you just get the card, and we just got the driver, so we didn't really have that much time to test anything.
I told everybody, I think 2 weeks ago during the live stream, I told everybody to go, or maybe last, I'm not sure anymore, but we have the card here already, it's on Peter's desk. And did you think Peter went to the office to take it and play with it? No.
No. Well, the thing is, you know,
that's an excuse.
Same with us. You need drivers to be able to do
that's correct.
And so,
yes.
you know, because the card is, I mean, the on shelf. So basically, when you can buy it, and so also when the drivers become publicly available is tomorrow. So yeah, you know, we had to do our best to be able to get drivers to be able to show you guys performance on the stream. Had to pull some strings and stuff like that. So anyway,
we got it.
We got it indeed. At least it worked before the stream, so disclaimer there. Maybe they changed something now and it doesn't work. But all right, let's get into first just a bit of an overview. So we can go to the slides. I promise you, there are not too many slides.
Can you move forward and back?
Forward and back.
The slides.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because
there we go. Yeah, sometimes capture things get stuck. But yeah, so. Of course, we're going to be talking about our MSI RX 6700 XT series, which consists out of 2 cards. I'll explain a little bit more about that later. But as you can see, both are dual fan cards. One is called Gaming X, or Gaming, and the other one is called Mech. Mech is the more, as we call it, MSRP, or you know, the less expensive model, let's say. So more focusing, similar to Ventus, on the basics, the essentials. So it doesn't have, for example, RGB lighting, and it uses, for example, last generation Torx fans 3.0.
Looks like Ventus.
Yeah, it does indeed, and it's very. I mean, the concept is very similar. So there are some small differences there.
Yeah.
Then about the GPU itself, because I think that's what a lot of people. I mean, if you are aware of the news, this is probably all well known to you. But I'm still going to reiterate for the people who might not have seen all the details. So this is the at the moment 4th GPU in the Navi lineup. As we move basically downwards right now from to the more mid-range of Navi. This is based on the Navi 22XT, as it's like that's the code name. You can pretty much forget about that if you're not into the tech world. And it's based on the AMD's RDNA 2 architecture, which is introduced with Navi, basically with the 6000 series of GPUs. It's built or made on the 7 nanometer TSMC process. Which of course is basically the smallest process for GPUs at the moment. The most refined process, I'd say.
For PCs, yes.
Yeah, for PCs. Yeah, sorry, for PCs. Well, we're talking about
I
PCs
think
here.
Apple already moved to the next node.
Oh yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm wondering how small it can get at some point. But yeah. Anyway. Compute units, when it comes down to that, this one, the RX 6700 XT, has 40 of them. And as you can see, that's about 33% less compared to its bigger brother, the 6800. 6800 XT has even more, with 6900 XT, of course, being the biggest, Big Navi. I think it was one of the names it was called by, which is the full fat, the 80. So it's basically 2 times as much as 6700 XT. In terms of cores, it has 2560 cores. Again, it scales pretty much with the same with the compute units and also the ray accelerators. So again, 33% or a third less compared to the model above it. And the same goes with ray accelerators. So this is basically, I think every compute unit, probably you could say it like that, has one ray accelerator in it, because I don't think it's a coincidence that the number of compute units and ray accelerators is exactly the same. With VRAM, regards to VRAM, the 6700 XT has 12 gigs of GDDR6.
I see a question in chat from Tech. He's asking GDDR6, why not using GDDR6 for better has better clocks? I think you're referring to the X version, which NVIDIA is using.
After that, the GDDR6X, which NVIDIA is using on their, I think, out of the top of my head, 3090 and 3080 use it. Yeah,
but that is specifically designed with Micron, I believe, for NVIDIA.
Yes. Yeah. So this is, I think, not available, at least not in that form.
Yeah. And what AMD did, I think Peter will tell in a second. Yes, GDDR6 is faster than GDDR6.
It has the higher raw throughput of data, indeed.
Indeed, but the Infinity Cache fixes this in the AMD architecture.
Yeah, it's indeed at least AMD's way of trying to mitigate that gap, and so indeed there's what they call the Infinity Cache, which is also a certain buffer. Which is a very, very fast memory, which can help to reduce any kind of latency and indeed speed up the overall throughput. So yeah, it's just there's not just one way of doing it. Each company, as you can see, has their own technology, their own approach to this specific topic. The memory bus is also a bit shrunk down or smaller compared to the bigger brothers. So down from 256-bit to 192. But this shouldn't really be any issue. I mean, this also corresponds with the reduced number of memory, so 12 gigs of GDDR6. But seeing what this card is really aimed at, so the resolution it's aimed at, which is to say a 4040p card, like the ultimate 4040p card for 4040p Ultra, 12 gigs is more than enough. At least in current games, current titles.
If you look at other cards in the same price range, and then everybody will ask, price range? What's that, Eric? Okay, we're not going to talk about price. I don't in the surroundings,
or the same type of performance in the same.
Then it's this 12 gig is quite a lot, and AMD is also pushing on this. Like modern games need 12 gig. Of course, they do this because 3070, for example, I think has 10 gig.
3060 even 8. Yeah.
So, technically, if you check the 192-bit, Peter already said because of that it has 12 gig. But it also mean they, in the future, if they want, and I don't know anything if they do, they can also bring a 6 gig version on the market.
Yeah, or I mean, conversely, I think not sure if we mentioned that with the 3060, but you know, if that has a higher memory bandwidth, then they could, for example, come out with a 16 gig version instead of 8. So again, these are the possibilities they have. We see that AMD indeed really banks on, puts their money on, okay, we want to introduce with a high amount of memory. That's what they want to push. It's fair enough. I mean, I don't think in many of the current games you need 20 gigs, but it definitely can't hurt to have that margin.
Yeah, so Darren Green on YouTube is correct. GDR6X is more expensive, no doubt about that. And also has a higher power consumption. So, and that's also what AMD fixed with the Infinity Cache. The interesting thing, if you look at the Infinity Cache, this GPU is bigger than last generation because of the Infinity Cache.
Yeah, because that's of course
takes a lot of space on the die.
On the die, indeed. Under the well, no, that's no heat spreader, right? No. Anyway, that's
your
CPUs I'm talking
about. Your cooling solution.
Yeah, exactly.
I think what's also interesting here is the... Peter, can you maybe move a little bit? Yeah, the other side.
Here we go.
Yeah, indeed, like this, between numbers.
Yes, so...
if you look at the ratios, then they cut down the quite large
a third on the number of cores, but the power indeed, so the power draw is not down by a third compared to 6800, and that's because they pushed this GPU, the 6700 XT, in terms of clock speeds, for example, they pushed it a bit further. For obvious reasons, you know, they wanted to see if they can match the 3070 and 3060 Ti, which we'll see in the next slides how well they managed that. But yeah, so they pushed it quite hard, maybe past its like optimal point where the power usage versus the performance you get back from it is more optimal. So this is like overclocking. You know, the more than you start overclocking or increasing the clock speed, the power usage starts to increase exponentially. It doesn't increase linearly. It increases at a higher rate after that point. So yeah, they pushed it quite far, which is it's not a new strategy. We've seen AMD do this before. We've seen NVIDIA do it as well at some points, of course. And I still think, you know, with 230 watts, especially given the current lineup and what NVIDIA also has on their RTX 30 series, it's nothing crazy. So it's still definitely within the bounds. And I think it's nice that they're able to squeeze a bit more performance out of this GPU for, you know, in the end for gamers.
If you also look at the ratio between the compute units and the memory, and the Infinity Cache, then you will see that this GPU has more Infinity Cache and more memory per compute unit.
Yeah, relatively speaking, indeed. So because indeed the compute units, cores, way accelerators, those are all a third less or 33% less compared to 6800. But the memory is only, I think, a quarter. 25% less.
We didn't calculate.
No, I think we did calculate, but it's more like a quarter less. So it's indeed like 25% versus 33% less core. So, I mean, but it also, you know, you can't. I don't think you can really cut down the memory bus, for example, by a third, by 33%. That might be, you know, a bit more challenging technologically as well. So there are certain things you can do. And you have to operate within those perimeters. For the Infinity Cache, I'm not sure because this is really the AMD technology. So there's you know, they only know what's possible there, and if it's very flexible, that you can choose any kind of amount that you want, or if you also have to stick to a certain, to certain numbers there. So you can make certain steps, but you can't do it per MB, for example, per megabyte. But yeah, it's interesting to see. So let's see how this card. Does, shall we? Before we do that, these are our two models. Quickly want to highlight. Again, it's not a full lineup, or it's not like a very broad lineup. We basically decided to go for two main models here, and not to introduce too many different models based on this GPU. So yeah, we have the Gaming X, which we have here today, which is our most premium offering on this GPU. And then we have our Mac OC, which again is more should be in the end more affordable and focuses more on the essentials. Both have, of course, the same GPU, the same amount of memory, basically the same TDP as well, although gaming can sometimes get a bit more headroom, which it could use when you unlock it with, for example, MSI Afterburner, for overclocking or for what is it? Dynamically boosting of the Radeon algorithm itself. Clock speeds, yeah, I haven't put them in here because officially we haven't released them yet. I know that in some of the media reviews they've already been released.
I told Peter, why didn't you put it in? He said, yeah, well, it's actually officially, we're not allowed to talk about it. I said, come on.
Yeah, it's a bit strange because they, you know, normally you would expect that the sales embargo or the date that you can start buying.
Let me check, maybe our product page
would be at the same time. Usually in a lot of cases in the past it has been on the same time as when the media reviews come on online, when you can read them. But in this case, the media reviews have been online now for about 2.5 hours, I think. Yeah, 2.5 hours. But the sales embargo, unfortunately, is tomorrow. So, and that's when we are allowed to reveal these details.
I'm just
basically
checking if they're on our product page.
The power, by the way, also the same, the power requirements. So you will have dual 8-pin connectors on the cards, both of them. The dimensions, of course, there is some difference there. Because on the gaming card, it has a bit more beefy heatsink. So you will notice it's a bit thicker as well with 58 millimeters as compared to 51 millimeters on the mech. Although both are thicker than 2 slots, is what I can definitely say. Although the gaming is a bit closer to 3 slots almost, so probably 2.7, 2.8 if you want to be exact about it. And the mech OC is probably, 2.25 or something ish. So yeah, it takes both take more than 2 slots in PCIe slot width. Also the weight, there you can also see really the difference of the heatsink and some of the materials used. So the gaming card is a bit heavier, obviously because of the thicker heatsink, but that also, you benefit from that in the cooling.
Clock speeds are also not on the product page.
No,
still hidden.
Exactly. All right.
Sorry. Maybe one slide back.
Yes.
Yeah. So I saw 2 questions already in the chat regarding this. First of all, are we also selling the AMD reference design?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, for us, that's we don't want to focus on it. It's an AMD design. What we also saw in all the benchmarks that, I mean, I don't want to talk down to the reference design. It's pretty good. It's a lot better than what we saw years ago with the exhaust fan design. So kudos to AMD and also NVIDIA.
You're just saying our cooler is better.
Well, it is, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, objectively, what you will see in all the media reviews, it's better.
So, second question is, so we will not see a Gaming X Trio. Sorry, I forgot who asked it in the chat.
I never say never, but at the moment, no. And honestly, also because of the very limited availability, let's put it that way, we thought it was maybe better in this case to focus on just two models that definitely, so we do offer some choice. So you have the mech which is more focused on the essentials, no RGB and that kind of thing for if you really don't care about that, but you do care about the GPU and decent cooling. Then mech is your ideal choice. And if you want a little bit more, the best cooling, but also some of the features like RGB and just a bit more premium, then the gaming card is for you, and also just a bit more performance that you can squeeze out of it. So yeah. And also, I mean, as you will see in this stream, but also if you watch any of the reviews, you will see that 2-fan cooler like our gaming card here is more than enough. I mean, you can do 3 fans, but honestly, the card, it will cool better, definitely, but how much benefit you get from that is doubtful.
So actually we have 5 models because you only show 2 here.
Yeah, we have so we have the Gaming X 12G, which is of course the OC version that we've got here. Yeah. And we've got the Gaming 12G, which is the non-OC version of the gaming, which has a just bit lower clock speeds, but otherwise is physically exactly the same card. And for the mech, it's the same principle. We have the mech OC, which I'm highlighting in this slide, and we also have the mech without OC, so it's a non-OC version. Again, clock speeds will be a bit lower. Physically, it's the exact same card as the mech OC. Weight of the GPU, yeah, indeed. So this is, well, the GPU, the full card. I mean, it's not the weight of the GPU, just to be exact, you know, again.
Yeah, the graphics card.
But I think that's what you meant. So indeed.
I think if you go to the datasheet, you can even see the weight of the box, all the dimensions.
But this is for,
net,
you know, we list that for logistics, for example. So for most of you, you know, the weight of the box itself, it's probably not that interesting, because, you know, why would you need to know that? Unless, of course, you're paying for very exact shipping costs. I mean, but for us, you know, that's something that they need to calculate if they're shipping, you know, pallets of these things. Like, okay, the cards weigh this, but, you know, the boxes, of course, are also on there. So all that weight also needs to be calculated and blah, blah, blah.
Interesting question from Drake NL on Twitch. Will the TWIN FROZR also be coming to NVIDIA?
Yes, and we've announced this in past streams as well.
Did.
On on 3060, both 3060 and 3060 Ti. We also announced that the TWIN FROZR will return. Unfortunately, we did not. I think they should be already, you know, being produced and available in certain quantities in the market, but we haven't been able to get our hands on one of the samples. So for us, this is like literally the first TWIN FROZR for this generation that we have. So yeah, that's also why we call it the return of the TWIN FROZR.
Yeah.
And let's be honest. I mean, the TWIN FROZR is one of those things. If you go back to, you know, a couple of generations and you've been in this in this market for a while and in this paying attention to graphics cards, I mean, the TWIN FROZR is really one of the iconic things of MSI graphics card, right? This thing really built a well-deserved reputation for being an excellent cooler.
I think 1 or 1.5 years ago we did a live stream about the history of MSI graphics cards. So then we went back, because in the beginning it was not called TWIN FROZR or TWIN FROZR, but probably something
hybrid
freezer or something, like, and then a German company said, "We are going to sue you."
Yeah, because
and then we said, "Sorry," and we changed the name.
Yeah.
I think there was only one generation.
It could be, but that's a long time ago, right?
Yeah. And especially in the beginning, TWIN FROZR was like a hit and a miss. One generation was really good. The other generation, it really is, I cannot say that, but anyway, it was bad.
If you follow the logic of how TWIN FROZR, you know, became a thing, because back then, before TWIN FROZR, I think pretty much all graphics cards just had a single fan somewhere in the middle, you know, with a heatsink. And then we came as one of the first with the idea, like,
see the chat.
we need two
Blue
fans.
Fire streaming.
Now we're already on to 3 fans. So, guys, how long do you think it'll take before 4 fans becomes the norm?
Yeah.
Let us know. If this is the direction we're going.
Actually, I think some brands already had 4 fans, but 2 on top or something stacked. Anyway, I still remember. I think ones, right? with the 1080 or something, we had a discussion.
Yeah.
Should we do 3 fan or not? Because our 2 fan TWIN FROZR was so, I don't want to say powerful, but
was more than enough.
Cool. Was
sufficient.
Like more than enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was a big dilemma, but you know, it's, I don't want to say it's marketing, because it can, you know, it can cool better.
Well, let's be honest, you know, and ask yourself. But this goes for a lot of things. Also for mice, I had a discussion with somebody earlier today as well. But you know, most people just think more is better, and that goes for example, for fans, and to a certain point, that does ring true. But how much benefit do you gain after a certain point? I mean, that's
it's
also
all about
also
the quality. I mean, you can have a good 2 fan and a bad 3 fan.
Yeah.
You can also have a good 3 fan.
Yep, and a crappy dual fan.
And we you know, you and me are long in this business.
Yes.
We also saw that you have like a GPU with overkill on cooling, and which makes it very expensive. Well, again about price.
Well, I mean, we've been honest about it. I think when we talked about, for example, a card like the 3060, which we have in a gaming X-Trio, so a triple fan.
Yeah.
Honestly, it doesn't need it. You do get some benefit out of it, but it is kind of overkill. Yeah. That's also why, of course, we are offering it in a dual fan.
That's also why I have a triple fan at home. Okay.
You like overkill?
No, not over. I mean, you can also benefit from that.
Yeah. But I mean, you know, on the higher end GPUs, if you're talking about a 3070, 3080, definitely, 3090, definitely. You know, those cards. But same thing with, you know, this is an AMD card live stream, so. Yeah.
What is
RX 6800 XT? I mean, yeah. If you look at also, sorry, go back into the slides, but the power consumption here, RX 6800 XT with 300 watts, and then 6900 XT with 300 watts, and this is the baseline basically TDP. So that means that some of the custom cards, you know, have more headroom, so that they'll be able to use more power, up to maybe 350 or even higher wattage. That heat needs to be cooled, so then you definitely benefit, and you really need a triple fan card, or maybe even a hybrid solution. So yeah, then a dual fan card will. It can still get the job done, but it will have to work harder, so it will produce a bit more noise. Again, it's a trade-off.
I think they're bored, two old guys talking, they want to see benchmarks.
I know.
So go. Come on. Benchmarks.
So the Keenum is saying hardware on box consistently seems to prove that MSI makes badass and effective coolers on GPUs. Yeah. Well, that's what we hope to do and what we aim to do. You know, I always get confused when I look at building the tension. I am when I look at some of these media, because it's hard. You know, you can't compare one media result to the other because they each have their own testing methods. One can, for example, if you look at the noise comparisons and the acoustics, one will say, oh, this card, the MSI card, has I don't know 40 decibels, and the other will say, oh, it's only 25. Because they measure from way further away or in a more silent environment where the noise floor is lower, so it's very difficult to compare these one-on-one. But overall, yeah, it's, you know, of course, we always try to go for the good balance between...
the sweet spot.
Sorry?
The sweet spot.
Yeah, the sweet spot between great cooling, you know, not too much, and also the noise. So that's because great cooling also comes with good performance. So yeah,
and that's also part of the history of TWIN FROZR.
Yes.
Like what I said, in the beginning it was hit or miss.
Yeah.
And then we were like, okay, why do people not like this?
Yeah.
And then, you know...
I think in the beginning, the cooling was very aggressive, right? So the fan speed was very high. The clock speed, the temperature was very low because of that.
But I'm talking about 7-8 years ago.
Yeah, but then, you know, you find out, again, it's also a learning process for us and for a company like MSI.
For our engineers.
Then you find out, for example, that in the media and reviewers, and also, you know, a lot of you gamers, you know, well, the noise wasn't really necessary anymore, and it became less normal that there was a lot of noise. So, you know, then the requirement or the thing that people want and appreciate about a card changes, and you have to adapt with that. So, yeah.
And this is a question everybody has to ask themselves and to answer for themselves.
Yeah.
Is it about the cool GPU you want, or is it about silent performance?
Yeah, or a good balance between both, which is what we're trying to achieve with our gaming
benchmarks.
Cards. Yes. All right. 1080p. Like I said already before, this card is really aimed, or AMD already states, is really aimed at 1440p. But nonetheless, for 1080p, it's also a great card, of course, especially if you really want to do higher frame rates. This is a 14 game average measured by TechSpot, or otherwise known on their YouTube channel as Hardware Unboxed. Yeah, 150 on average FPS, so yeah, that's more than enough. And this is, I think, on all high ultra settings, and these are not just competitive games, you know. So if you're talking about Red Dead Redemption, for example, well, it will be more towards the 100 FPS maybe. And if you're talking about something like CS:GO or you know, competitive titles like that, it will be hundreds of FPS. So again, this is just an average, but yeah, excellent card on the average for this resolution. Overkill pretty much, but yeah, there you go. But as you can see, the performance really sits between in their tests at least, between the 3070 and 3060 Ti. But it really depends on what titles you choose to test. Because if you, for example, what AMD of course does is to take, in their testing, to take titles that of course their GPU does a bit better on than NVIDIA GPUs do generally. So that's why in their testing, which is, you know, it's true, it's not a lie, but they're selective about which titles they want to highlight. They in their numbers they come on top of the 3070. Again, each review will differ slightly, but yeah, it's around the 3070 mark, I would say. Then then the resolution that this card is really aimed at, so 4040p. And there we can see, well, it's really good for that indeed. Over 100 FPS on average, which is more than playable. Depending on the game, if you really want to go for 144, then in graphics intensive games, you might have to sacrifice a couple of settings to achieve that. But overall, I mean, 100 FPS. Let's be honest, that's pretty damn smooth in most cases. And again, here we see it really falls right in the middle of 3070 and 3060 Ti. Now I have to say that also one of the differences between what AMD presented previously when they presented the GPU and the result of TechSpot or Hardware Unboxed is that AMD had Smart Access Memory, or SAM, enabled, which does provide a nice boost in some games, and I'm going to show you guys that as well later on this stream.
Live benchmarking.
Exactly, with a live benchmark, and also I'm going to show you in the BIOS because how to enable even the Smart Access Memory, because it's not easy. If you're not familiar with BIOSes and stuff, then you probably will not really know how it goes. But I'm going to show you. It's actually not that hard, but you just need to know where to find it. And indeed, in some games, it can give you a pretty nice advantage. But TechSpot did their testing with SAM disabled. So that means that in some games, indeed, where AMD saw a better performance, higher performance number, the numbers from TechSpot actually they don't take that into account. So a little bit of a disclaimer there. Any interesting questions, Eric?
A lot of chatter, also a lot of questions, and people good. Are already answering each other.
Ah, that's always nice. Our community. Ductin Duang.
We can go
sorry,
home.
I hope I'm not pronouncing this wrong, but 3070 is still better than 6700 XT. Don't need to change my. Well, honestly, if you already have a 3070,
no need.
Let's just, that's also an excellent card. And indeed, it really depends per game. There are some games where the 6700 XT will do quite a bit better than even a 3070. And there are some games where the 3070 is way better than this. But in the end, it doesn't matter too much.
Yeah.
A lot of people, a lot of opinions. That's good. We always appreciate that. Can I get one for free? Gee, I didn't see that one coming.
You're the first one to ask.
Yeah. Unfortunately, no. We're not giving them away for free, of course.
We should do, Peter. We should create a VJ giveaway. Then at least somebody can get
We've
stuck.
done that in the past, and again, depending on where they live, the logistics cost can actually, and this is the crazy thing, even if a card is quite expensive, the logistics costs are so friggin' ridiculous.
Yeah.
They can actually cost more than the card itself, and it's
True
just
that.
All right. I mean, this is the results that I wanted to share with you guys.
Michiel is saying AMD got to fix his drivers. They're still buggy. I think I'm quite impressed with the drivers. They improved a lot.
Yeah.
Nothing is bug free.
No.
But if you compare this with 2 years ago, 50. What was it? 1 year ago, 5700 XT?
5000 series indeed.
Yeah.
I mean, also that's one of the things, one of the cards I included here, of course, to compare with basically the same level of cards. So there are 700 series, the RX 5700 XT, and there you can see really, it's a big jump up in terms of performance. So it goes from 88 FPS on average to 114. So that's like what is it? I think 30% increase of performance on average. So yeah, that's pretty nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hash rates? No, we're not going to show those, guys. Sorry.
Hash rates?
No. You can try and figure those out for yourself if you want to know about that. Again, we really don't want to highlight that because it just sets a precedent that we don't want to do, or we don't want to highlight. So, of course, you guys are entitled to do with your cards whatever you want.
4K benchmarks?
No.
Yeah, because I saw some 4K benchmarks, and it can run 4K.
Of course.
It's not made for it. So if you run 4K with high details, you will be sub 60 FPS. However, if you're willing to compromise on the details to medium or some games to low, then of course you can hit the 60 FPS. But this is not really a 4K card.
No.
What's also interesting, 1080p. If you run 1080p, in a lot of games you can get like 130 FPS. So this makes it a really interesting card as well for a 144 Hz monitor. Of course, depending on each game and the settings. You know, we always have this argument. I mean, Michiel is a 144 Hz player. I'm like, I want eye candy, and candy as well. But so I'm not sure if 144 you want to hit the 144 or is just 138 is also close enough.
Depends on what you, what you're aiming for.
And I mean, that's one setting,
I think this is also really the difference between, you know, Mike is more of a competitive player, and competitive players tend to care less about visual detail and more about, you know, smooth experience. So they have consistency, they have accuracy, and as a responsive game as possible. And indeed, what you say, you know, you care more about the visual style and then the visual candy, and a little bit less about, you're willing to sacrifice some smoothness, some FPS, because you're not that competitive probably about it. Maybe in one game you are competitive though, but most other games you want to enjoy the visual style. But again, that's up to you, and it will, you know, it will differ per person, but even maybe per game. Some games you might want to, you know, you're very competitive about, so you really don't care about the visual quality. But then, you know, for a change of pace, you want to play, I don't know, Cyberpunk or you know, Horizon Zero Dawn. And those are games which, you know, let's be honest, not really competitive. That's really more about enjoying the atmosphere and, you know, taking in the visual splendor of the games. So, yeah.
So, Peter, people are asking about ray tracing performance. Do you have any examples?
Actually, good point. I didn't put it in here indeed, but I did see some benchmarks of it. Yeah, let's just say, and we can see it. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to fire up Watch Dogs Legion, which is also the game we're giving away. Eric, while I do that, maybe you can do the first giveaway.
Oh yeah, it's time.
Yeah, don't forget about it. But yeah. It's compared to NVIDIA, again, NVIDIA is on their second generation of ray tracing cards. AMD is catching up. But this card, you know, basically my conclusion would be don't buy this card for the ray tracing. It can do it, and it doesn't do a terrible job at it. But especially on this card, you can really tell it's kind of, you know, they're catching up. They're having to catch up. And I mean, well, this differs. I think for NVIDIA, DLSS is the really big game changer. You know, if you compare the, for example, the 3060 Ti or 3060 with this card, purely based on ray tracing, I think it's comparable to 3060 on ray tracing, but that's without taking DLSS into account. Yes. So if you then also include DLSS, then NVIDIA shoots ahead. I think it's like a 50% boost in FPS, which is massive. And that's something that AMD has no answer to.
I see a GeForce RTX logo behind you.
Yes, I know. Yeah. This is also, I mean, that's the thing, right? Which ray tracing games or which games that have ray tracing are AMD optimized? Yeah. They're all NVIDIA optimized at the moment.
It's one part hardware, the other part is software, and indeed, I mean, let's be honest, NVIDIA, I don't want to say invented ray tracing, but they
pioneered it, right? They kicked it off. Ray
tracing, you know, that's already around for many years, but they brought it into the modern GPUs.
Into the mainstream. Yeah.
They made it work. It's a combination of ray tracing and rasterization. They developed the ecosystem. I believe they also pushed, you know. I mean, they talked to Microsoft like, hey, can you make an API for this? We want to use this.
Well, they did invest in it. Let's be clear about that.
And huge money and many years of R&D work. The winners on the screen, Peter.
Yes.
So
it's really no surprise that they are ahead at the moment.
Yeah. Indeed. Peter, what resolution are you?
4040p again, guys. This is a 4040p card, but I will show you later on in the settings as well. No, maybe later.
You need to fix something because your capture is on 1080p.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see. Either that, or you maybe need to click a button that says fit the screen or something.
I did that.
Oh, okay, you did.
So you see here, the desktop is working.
Yeah. Yeah, when I switch to the game, it's maybe, wait, let me...
Okay, I will do the winner because you're...
yes,
so, oh, this is good. So, anyway, congratulations. Spanwerk. Is that okay, Peter?
Spanwerk.
Yeah, anyway.
Spanwerk.
That's right. Now you notice how much I paid attention on school when I got my German classes. I was like not interested. And then years later, when you have a job,
might explain it. It's actually set
4K.
to yeah, that's a bit ambitious.
Yeah, years later, when you're working in like an international environment, you think maybe I should have spent more time on French, on German, on Spanish. I get lessons in all those languages, but even my English nobody understands.
Yeah.
Anyway, congratulations. In the coming days, we will send you a game code for Watch Dogs Legions. Peter's going to show this game.
Yeah.
You can still participate in the giveaway. Let me go to here. If you go to msi.com/2/insider, you can also go to our YouTube and Twitch channel. Yes, that's correct. There is a bot each 5 minutes will spam the link, including a Gleam link on which you can click. You need to perform several actions. And
I think next round, Eric, next 2 rounds, let's do 2 winners per go.
Peter, you know I'm impatient.
Oh, you're going to do one now?
Yeah, why not?
Fair enough. Let's go. Let's up the stakes. Come on, guys. We want to make more people happy today.
Yes.
All right, so our next winner doesn't have a nickname. I mean, we try to always say the nicknames, but if we don't have it, then
Indrek.
Indrek, congratulations. You are our second winner of today. You get a game code as well.
All the Indreks in the live stream. Yeah, I won.
All of them.
Why is my webcam getting... have some color issues.
You're a chameleon.
I think I...
Can you switch back to the...
Yeah, moment.
Don't be so vain, Eric.
No, it's like
the white balance. I know.
Is it the white balance?
Yeah, well, at least you change hue.
No,
you change
see, it's
color a bit.
I go back to capture system. Yes.
Yes.
So you changed it?
Yes, exactly. It was set to 4K resolution for some reason.
Back to the chat.
But yeah. Yes. As you can see now, it's 1440p. And here at the top, just checking if nothing is blocking what I'm trying to show you. Actually, can you? Oh, you can't see my mouse cursor, can you?
You can enable that in NDI settings.
Yeah, I know. I thought I did, but let me just go back and do it again.
Afterburner.
Yes.
So,
mouse pointer is on.
Now you're not using NDI HX, but the normal NDI, right?
Yeah. So that should impact performance a little bit.
Yeah.
HX is currently only working on NVIDIA card, it seems.
On NVENC NVIDIA card, so 20 and 30 series.
That codec. Here we go. Now you guys can see my mouse cursor in the game. But yeah, as you can see here, RX 6700 XT. One display, monitor refresh rate set to auto. It's 144 Hertz, by the way, on this monitor. VSync off, FPS limit off. I mean, all these settings are pretty much standard for the game. Quality settings, DirectX 12, of course. Graphics quality high. I think the game chose this automatically. Yeah, I don't. Let's just do ultra first, and see how that goes. As you can see, of course, ray tracing we can turn on. It's at the moment turned off. So let's start with just rasterized performance. And DLSS is obviously not available. It's an AMD card.
Call Ubisoft. It's not working.
Yeah, please fix. Let me think, because there was like an optimized setting for this. What was it?
Hey, Andre is here. Andre, what pizza today?
Sorry?
Andre is in the chat. He's each week eating a pizza, and I think next week we can do a poll what kind of pizza he will eat. I'm still checking with him.
All right, fair enough. Damn, what was the optimized settings for this again? I don't know. Let's just...
I would say just do everything standard on Ultra.
Yeah.
You know, no custom settings.
Yeah. Campaign.
But you had some custom settings, Peter.
Oh, I'll change it. There was one thing, the headlights of cars. That was the only thing I changed.
Refund, no DLSS.
So
NVIDIA is AMD is working on like DLSS-like solution. They announced, it's
if you're
not
talking about Radeon Boost, which is something
no, it's more like a super resolution.
Yeah, but Radeon Boost is it tries to not in the center of your vision, but around it. It will kind of artificially in some blocks lower the resolution, so it doesn't have to render everything in the highest resolution. But yeah, we can turn it on later on as well, because I did see it in the drivers that it is available. Anyway, this is 4040p Watch Dogs Legion without ray tracing on, everything on Ultra. As you can see, we're about
Can you
70.
go back to the water, maybe show reflection of the buildings?
Yeah, but
because that's the ray tracing part.
But ray tracing is off.
Yeah, but you still see already some reflections.
Maybe we can, there's a fountain here. Maybe that's actually...
Because that's also what's important. Ray tracing adds a lot of realism, but you also need to wonder how... Well,
these are screen space reflections, right?
Yeah,
indeed. So these are a bit more static. They still give a pretty good impression, of course, but it doesn't change in real time.
No. If people are walking in front of it, I think it will not show.
No, I don't think so either, indeed.
Not that advanced.
No. Well, actually, do we see... You see these cars also being... And that person walking there.
Too much stuff in the water, I cannot see it.
I did see some changes, indeed. So, but, that's the thing. Screen space reflections already, have come a long way. It's a technology that's been in development for a long time. But also looking at the performance, just running around, trying to do the thing. 80s, high 70s, low 80 FPS.
Can you maybe go to the settings, Peter, how much memory this game is using?
Yeah, but that's an indication. You can actually see it in real time.
Because Michiel is asking, this is not our Michiel, does more than 10 gig benefit?
It says VRAM usage is like 83 almost.
Yeah, okay.
So just above 8 gig, but in real life, and this is actually, that's Afterburner measuring it on the top. You see the mem part with 5420 megs, so that's just about 5.5 gigs of memory is actually being used. So the game doesn't use all the memory it says it uses in the menu.
Well, probably it made a reservation for that when
Something
it wants
like
to stream textures.
But to be fair, on the menu, it's more like an indication. Yeah. It's not in real time saying it can use. It's more like it can use up to, probably. Because indeed, you can see here, this is the real life usage of VRAM, which is even under 5.5 gigs. Anyway, so let's just say it was around 70 FPS. Then if I now go to video options and first I'm gonna just turn on ray tracing, and I'll put it on ultra straight away.
Yeah, there are a lot of settings between it, but
yes. Well, let's do the one that has the highest impact first, and then see where we go from there. Yeah. And here you can really see. It's now down to 30, and take into account again that this card is also doing the capturing process and the encoding, sending it to the director's PC that Eric is sitting behind, indeed. So this impacts performance. We measured this, I think, by about like 7%.
Quite high from time to time, yeah.
Yeah.
And this differs per game.
Yeah.
Because it really depends on how much your CPU and GPU load is.
Yes.
We're looking for some capture cards, hopefully in the coming weeks, because then there should not be an impact on performance anymore.
Yeah. By the way, you can also see now, of course, memory dropped. Memory dropped. The FPS dropped to about 30. Normally, I think without capturing and streaming it, it would be about 30, taking into account the performance loss due to the capturing. But you can also see the memory usage has shot up from 5.5 to about 7, just over 7 gigs. So this ray tracing increases memory usage by a lot. Of course, we have plenty of memory, so there's nothing to worry about. Also, by the way, check out the GPU temperature at the top right. As you can see, it's 99% usage. The clock speed is around 2550, 2560, going up and down a little bit. And the GPU temperature is 61 degrees. And now, of course, this is an open test bench. So in an enclosed case, depending on how well your case is, the airflow in your case is, this can be better or worse. In a case that has zero airflow, of course, it will be much worse. But if you have good airflow in your case, which we always recommend, yeah, it should be around the same mark. So like I said, and this is at 99% usage. This is really, trying to kick this puppy up to as much as it can do, and it's barely breaking 60 degrees, which is the point at which the fans pretty much start to spin. I mean, you can, Eric, can we switch to the close-up cam?
Yeah.
Yeah, here we go. So the fans are spinning, but if we go back to the capture, I mean, I've even put the tachometer, it's called, so that actually shows on the top right the RPM in real time, and just left of that it shows percentage-wise how much percentage of the fan speed it's using, around 31% that is, and so the fans are just spinning at this is I think one of the lowest values that it really starts at, 1100 RPM, which is barely audible, I guess. You really don't really hear that. And it's just keeping it at a nice low 60-ish, 63. Might rise a bit if we keep, if you keep playing for a couple of hours, it might rise to about maybe, almost up to 70. But really, that's nothing to worry about. So as you can see, 2 fans is more than enough to cool this card.
Yeah. So let's talk about, because the question when we started was, how's ray tracing performance?
Yeah.
So in my opinion, this is not playable.
No.
30 FPS.
No, indeed. And if you could, you could compare this performance to, for example, a 3060 without DLSS enabled. And again, that's where really the big difference at the moment with NVIDIA and AMD also is NVIDIA has this DLSS which can mitigate the impact of this ray tracing by a lot, because if you have a 3060 and it also has about 30 FPS, but you can then enable DLSS and it will boost you up to almost 50 FPS, that's a huge deal. That's a huge difference. At the moment, there is no possibility like that for AMD, unfortunately. No. But who knows? Maybe they will.
It's in the work. It works, and they want to have it ready for all their platforms.
Yes.
And if they're talking about all the platforms, they're also talking about the PlayStation 5, the Xbox.
Yes.
So, and it is possible. I'm not saying it is. It will be, but it is possible that they will also backwards compatible with this generation of GPUs. So that later you get this feature on the cards introduced.
Yeah, yes, indeed. But as you can see, even at medium ray tracing settings, which I've just selected, it's just above 30 now.
But 10% higher.
Yeah, exactly. But just for a game like this,
no.
So that's why I already said, for ray tracing at the moment at least, maybe until their AMD releases their version of DLSS-ish technology, not that much recommended for that.
Well, what you can do, you can purchase a faster card and play it at a lower resolution, but that's not something what you want to do.
No, indeed. But again, to be fair, AMD I think also didn't market this as the ultimate ray tracing card or anything like that. And to be fair, if you look at, everything is pretty much at ultra, and you then look at the performance in the game, just rasterized performance, when you get to about, what we had before, like 70-ish FPS, that for a game like this is perfectly playable. That's pretty nice.
Indeed.
And so for that, at 4040p in a game like Watch Dogs Legion, which again is a, quite a graphically intensive game.
So once more, people see 63 FPS, but actually you need to add 7% we lose by capturing.
Yeah.
Nice headshot, Peter. Reminds me of our Fortnite adventure.
Oh yeah.
The 2 snipes you got.
Yeah. Yeah, I just thought maybe, get some action and see what happens then. Sometimes when there's more action, you get it becomes a bit more difficult for the GPU. It might struggle a bit more, but.
Question in chat, Peter. Can you turn shadows off and put ray tracing on ultra, please?
Shadows off and then ray tracing on ultra.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Will you test Valhalla?
Yes.
Okay. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, that is.
Yes. And for the reason of that is the game that, from what I've seen so far, benefits the most from smart access memory.
Again, a question Snake is asking about price. Well, we're not going to talk about price. We already discussed that, because whatever price we mention here, it's not realistic, because in the market it will be, if it's available, it will be at a much higher price for the coming period.
I mean, somebody requested to disable shadows, which I've turned them off. And then enable ray tracing. So, are you interested in seeing some of the visual details, or were you interested in the performance? Because performance.
Snake was it, I believe. Oh, no,
yeah, the performance doesn't really matter. It's still, you know, just under 30. So the shadows doesn't really seem to impact the performance that much.
He says thanks.
Yeah, but and if you're looking at, for example, some of the visual details, I mean, I turned them off. They're not completely off, of course. But we see what happens if I turn them on again. Are low indeed. Okay, and if I turn them now up to ultra again, I mean there's the difference. Yeah, it's a bit less FPS still, but yeah, it's not a huge impact. Of course, ultra is usually is not the best optimized setting, and this is just, you know, without any optimizations done. So in an optimized setting, I'm betting you can get. And this is ray tracing on, but without ray tracing on, you could probably get to upper 80, 90 FPS easily on 4040p. So again, for rasterized performance, this card for 4040p, yeah, it's definitely good. Remember, this is a very graphically intensive game, so I think the claim of saying this is a card which is really good for 4040p holds up, yeah. And again, you know, we're still playing and doing all kinds of things, 99%, but notice the GPU is now at 50, it's even under 60 degrees. So, yeah. Again, the dual fan cooling is more than enough to cool this GPU. You don't even need 3 fans. On PC, it's yeah. Oh, by the way, it also, yeah, maybe I forgot to mention this. Using the original screen capture which we are using, sometimes it can stutter a bit. On my screen, it's very smooth. But yeah, that one is known to stutter a bit at some points.
Yeah, I'm looking into capture solutions, and we're also looking of course, into the future, like HDR maybe. We're thinking about, or not thinking, you know, we want to experiment with HDR streaming. Not sure if some people are already doing that, but this also means the capture needs to be HDR, the camera needs to be HDR. Also 4K streaming. But yeah, a lot of things on our schedule we are going to test in the coming years, months maybe. Yeah, we're using CJ Beal. We're using NDI capture, and they have two tools: the normal capture and the HX capture. HX only works on the NVENC cards from NVIDIA, so 2030 series, which has almost no impact because it uses the NVIDIA the encoding engine. But that doesn't work on AMD. So we're using the normal capture on AMD, and that has both a 3D GPU and CPU load.
Yeah. Can it run Crysis? I'm pretty sure.
Well, we didn't play with the new Crysis.
No.
I think it's remastered, right?
True. Yeah.
It's called remastered.
So I mean, what I want to try now, see if it makes a difference. I don't know if I can do it while the game is running, but we can give it a go. This is the Radeon software, and here we can change things like, for example, here's virtual super resolution, but there's also, where was it? Graphics, here we go, Radeon Boost. So this is a movement based on dynamic resolution. So basically what this does is it will try to reduce the resolution during motion to improve performance. So while you are, running around, and then in like the corners of your eye, it will try to decrease the resolution of that, because you're not really likely to notice that anyway. But let's see if that, how much that, and then let's put it pretty aggressively, minimum resolution 50%. Let's see how much we can gain from that in the setting that we were having. And again, this is Watch Dogs. It's probably not really optimized for AMD cards or AMD technology, so I'm not sure. I didn't test this prior to, so I don't know what to expect. I'm not seeing that much of a difference yet. Also not really during movement. So
Peter, do you see this?
Do I see what? All right, yeah.
Okay.
Let me see. Yeah. So let's see if we have, for example, the very high quality, which is still pretty nice. Oh crap! Right, I have to restart the game to be able to do this, but let's do that.
Question from Vega Nielsen. If I'm going to play a non-DLSS game, would it be better for a 3060 or of a 6700 XT? Depends which one you can get.
In general, it doesn't matter. DLSS is like a bonus for RTX cards that if you have, mostly for ray tracing, you can get a performance boost, basically.
Yeah.
But it also depends on what game, because you're referring to a specific game, like, okay, what if I'm playing a non-DLSS game? If you have a specific game in mind, it might be worth looking at the GPU reviews to see if they tested that game, because sometimes there can be a big difference in an NVIDIA card or an AMD card, regardless of its performance in synthetic benchmarks. But yeah, in general, in that case, there's no real benefit for you to choose one over the other, because, like you mentioned, if you're not going to use DLSS or it's not available in that game, yeah.
Like my answer.
I would actually say that it makes the choice maybe a bit harder, because there's no clear winner there, maybe.
Yeah, and don't forget, I mean, NVIDIA can start to support that game with DLSS in the future as well.
Oh, that could be the case indeed. So Christian Ignatz is saying the game has to support Radeon Boost to gain advantage. Yeah, that could very well be the case. And this being a primarily NVIDIA title, as you know, when you start the game, you see the NVIDIA badge.
I didn't notice that.
Sorry?
I didn't notice.
What? The NVIDIA badge?
The NVIDIA logo. The big green NVIDIA logo.
Yeah, it's very likely that this game indeed is not optimized to use Radeon Boost.
No, I think NVIDIA of AMD, they have several games like the new World of Warcraft and several other games, which they are using to include their new features. Let's say like that.
Yes. All right, so I mean, on very high settings still, we get like over 80 FPS, so yeah, pretty nice, pretty smooth, without sacrificing basically much or any visual fidelity. So again, like I said, it's for 4040p, it's a very nice card, yeah. Do we wanna go and do, let's do the next giveaway, Eric. And then what I'll do is I'll go to Valhalla first. I think that game might be a bit more optimized for AMD. I'm not saying, actually I don't know if it's optimized for AMD all the way.
But you didn't tell me, Peter, I just...
it's a bit more neutral, maybe.
I just draw two.
Yes.
Okay. So the first winner for what is it? Watch Dogs Legions, right? Yeah, Watch Dogs Legions is Ali Al Kurdi. Congratulations! And the second winner is Roland.
So Roland.
Yeah. Roland, yeah, indeed, English. So Roland,
congratulations,
Ali Al Kurdi. Please, congratulations, not please.
Please.
And in the coming days we will send you the game code by email.
Yes.
Peter's going to do that. So tomorrow, Peter?
Yeah, I think so.
You hope? Okay.
No.
Maybe Friday, maybe Monday. You will get it anyway. So, if you still want to participate, go to msi.com/do/insider, or on YouTube and Twitch we have a bot running which spams the Gleam link as well each 5 minutes.
Ooh, look, AMD Ryzen.
Yes, that's better.
So I think like this being a Ryzen system, I didn't mention that, but there's a Ryzen 9 5950X.
Yes.
Yeah, in here. So that's a serious CPU. That's I don't know the exact specs, but that's like what, 16 cores? Eric, you usually know more about these things. That's 16 cores, Ryzen 9, 5000 series, so that's like,
You can open the task manager.
Seriously friggin' high end. Yeah, maybe, let me check. Oh crap, how do I minimize? Here we go. Is there maybe something installed on this thing which can show what's here? No, maybe not. All right, task manager it is.
That's how I always do it.
Yeah, so here we see it indeed. I hope this is clear for you guys. Ryzen 9 5950X 16-core processor. There you go. Running at stock speeds, by the way. Nothing, not overclocked or something like that. Just stock out of the box speed. Memory. I've got 16 gigs in here of what is it? Corsair memory. 3200 megahertz.
You can show. We can go to the detailed cam.
Here we go. Actually, I think otherwise it's upside down for you guys. Here we go. Corsair memory, 2 sticks of 8 gigs, and it's 3200 megahertz memory. As you can see here also, well, with such a beast of a CPU, we did choose to go for a liquid cooler, which is in this case a 360 millimeter radiator. You can tell that, of course, by triple fans, each of them being 120.
Peter, what's that behind your desk?
What is what behind my desk?
I see some boxes.
Oh yeah. But I will get to that a little bit later. Because again, we've got some cards here which I can physically show you guys. But I first wanted to give you guys the performance, the gameplay, and things like that. Yeah,
we're yelling benchmark.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm gonna do. Anyway, let me see. Yeah, so what I'll do here in Assassin's Creed Valhalla is first go to the options to make sure. Oh, here we go. It's a 4K again. I think it was installed by using a 4K monitor. I think that might be why.
Yeah.
I think the rest it's okay. 60 hertz native? Nah, I don't think that's correct.
11th gen Intel is still not on the market. That will come later. And to be honest, I didn't follow all the news, so I'm not sure if we are allowed to talk about
60%.
when.
I think I'll put that on 100%.
But they sent out a press release yesterday about 11th gen.
Yes. Yeah, you can also see, by the way, I actually forgot about that, but the game actually shows you indeed also the processor, the GPU, even the monitor we have, which is the MAG 264 QRF-QD, or quantum dot monitor, 27-inch. Really nice as well, good colors. Great colors.
Tomorrow we're going to have a discussion about all the, should we leave the Q in the marketing name and the R and the F, because nobody knows what it stands for, and then Peter says, yeah, QD, quantum dot, so.
Well, that's because I, of course, watched some of the streams by Ja.
Yeah,
so.
okay. You're educated.
Graphics quality, I've got that up to ultra high here. So what I want to do here is, because I really want to kind of show you and comparative numbers, so I'm going to do a benchmark, the built-in benchmark for this game.
Can you show the resolution scaling?
Yeah, I'll put it on 100. Actually.
Okay, yeah.
Here we go, screen, here. Resolution scale, yes, here we go.
Yeah. And one small detail, because it's important for the benchmark. Yes. What mouse are you using?
Clutch GM41 lightweight wire.
Detailed view, maybe.
There we go. It's also the mouse we featured a while ago, lightweight mouse. If you want to know more about that, you can look it up. It's a really nice mouse, very high-end sensor, really great for competitive FPS shooters.
Regular guy.
Yes. All right. Anyway, pretty much everything is on ultra here, or not pretty much, everything is ultra. The default setting here is ultra high. Yeah. Motion blur on. I hate to do it, but it's the default setting, so.
Yeah, that's always what we turn off.
Fair enough. It's the thing I always, because just freaking no.
Well, in this kind of game, it's not competitive, so it's doable.
It's not about competitive. I don't like the smearing of motion blur. I prefer things to remain sharp. Anyway, here's the benchmark button.
Question, Peter. What GPU are you using? On Twitter.
What GPU am I using?
Yes.
The GPU is the
maybe he's on his phone and on
AMD,
Twitter and he
AMD
cannot read
Radeon
your name tag.
6700 XT Gaming X 12G.
Thank you.
Yes.
Then we have that straight.
All right. Anyway, let's do the benchmark.
Yeah, you saw it. He has a big phone, probably a tablet.
Good. Yep. That's a real beast of a mouse. Yeah, when I hold it up close like that, it is. But it's because of the lightweight, it actually doesn't really feel like a beast. But it performs like a beast, though. All right, so here you can see. Oh, it's like a double overlay. That's nice. But again, you can see the temperature of the GPU, even though it's being stressed at 99%, remains low 60s. So cooling is really good. Memory usage is pretty much only up to 6.5 gigs. Around 70-ish FPS in the benchmark. Again, it's not 100% indicative of gaming performance. But the goal here is to set like a benchmark, because after this, what I'm going to do also is enable Smart Access Memory, or SAM, in the BIOS. And then we're going to run this benchmark again. So I want to, really compare the 100% the same situation with the only variable that I change being Smart Access Memory, and see what that does.
So Andre, I see you're still there. What pizza are you having today? Andre 45. When is Erik going to break this card? Well, actually, Peter is going to do that today, right?
I'm sorry?
Are you going to take it apart?
Yes. Yeah. So indeed, I have, while the benchmark is running, I'm not sure if it's, how long it takes. Maybe it's already...
No, not that long. It's not good, like...
No, that's true.
That's...
I mean, I also have 3D Mark on here for later on.
Like half an hour, 3D Mark?
Yeah, you can, I mean, for like burn-in tests, or stability tests, we sometimes do that. So you can just put like a loop of 3D Mark times pi or something like that to run 100 times.
It's finished.
Yes. So what we can see, okay, maybe Erik, do you have pen and paper somewhere? Maybe we can put it on the screen.
Yes.
Yeah, that's maybe a good idea, right? So, and let's do.
I mean, you mean on the stream screen, or on like what I'm doing now?
Stream screen.
Oh my God.
Stream.
So
Screen.
Okay.
Can you
add text? This is going to be fun. Add.
Okay, Erik's just gonna try and put some text over everything.
So tell me.
Just put a non-SAM or something.
Non-SAM.
Yes. Okay. We have average 72.
So that's 72.
Yes. Minimum 37.
Yeah.
Max 204. Yeah, indeed.
The other stuff also?
No. Well, I mean, you can. Yeah, that's going to be too much, I think. But indeed, it is relevant. But I want to focus on some of the key metrics first. So the average FPS, minimum and maximum. Basically, because I want to see how does SAM impact average FPS, but also minimum, maximum. Does it is it more consistent if we enable SAM, or is it all over the place? Anyway, here you can see it. So that's pretty good. Let's then exit the game.
Oh, wait. First I want to have it on the screen, because it's...
Yeah, okay. The text, you mean?
Yeah. Any suggestion, Peter?
Yeah, Inferno is a nice trolling there, brah. Keep asking Peter, what GPU is that? It's mine! No.
Come on. You see, I have to write it again.
Oh my God.
Do
I need to...
Oh, no. It's... you see where I put it?
Oof.
What is this? Okay, leave this out.
That's some resolution there.
Font size.
Holy crap.
What is this? What the... Oh, maybe it's this.
All right. Guys, if you want to help Erik out, do you guys remember the values?
No. It's here, Peter. Don't worry. I just need to... Why do I have this? Anyway, I'm going to write it down. Assassin's Creed Valhalla non-SAM 7237-204.
Yes.
And now I need to scale this. What kind of program is this? So,
yeah.
Maybe it's like too big.
Yeah, just make it a bit smaller. Yeah, there you go. All right.
7237-204. Yes.
We good?
Yeah,
Yeah?
We're good.
You sure?
Well, I'm going to try to like improve the quality because this looks
okay,
like.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually shut down the system completely because I want to go into the BIOS. To enable SAM, or Smart Access Memory, same with resized bar for NVIDIA cards, you actually have to go into the BIOS of the PC. And the way you do that is by shutting it down, or maybe, you know, I'm going to choose restart because it'll just reboot. And while it does that, I'm just going to press the delete key.
Hey, look at this.
There you go, Eric. Well done.
And
I'm just gonna keep pushing the delete key because that will get me into the BIOS. And once it does, I will use the close-up cam to show you guys because we cannot capture that because NDI doesn't work that way. Anyway, yep. Even though you think you can still see my desktop, that's just the last frame that NDI received. So maybe can we go to the close-up cam?
Yes.
Yes. Here we go. Okay, so as you can see here, real time, my mouse is moving. As you can also see here, I'm using the MPG B550 Gaming Carbon Wi-Fi with the latest BIOS version, and here's also, you can see again, the Ryzen 9 5950X. And what I'm going to do to enable the, well, as you can see also XMP, of course, enabled by default on this setting. What I'm going to do is now find the Smart Access Memory or resize bar. For that, you go into the settings, advanced. Let's see if I can make this as clear as possible. Advanced, PCI subsystem settings, and it's actually it is called in the menu resize bar support. But if I keep my mouse on it, you can see on the right side here AMD Smart Access Memory technology requirement. So it will still tell you, you know, it needs certain things to work. You still need I think, all 5000 series CPUs and some 3000 series supported. You need a 500 series motherboard or a 400, like a B450 or something like that, but with the latest BIOS version. And you need a graphics card, I think only the 6000, the RX 6000 series, so the Navi cards supported. 5000 series, I'm not sure.
I think you need to enable both of these options, people. Not only resize bar, but also the above 4 memory decoding.
Shall we try it? Because then I'm just going to enable the resize bar support right now. Actually, when I enable one, as you can see, both of them got enabled. I'm just going to disable to show you guys again.
Why?
Enable or disable.
Okay,
what happens if I only enable this one?
Then we get Ethereum or Raven.
Well, no, actually, so this one you can actually enable by itself, and it doesn't automatically enable resize bar support. But if you enable this one, you automatically enable this one as well. All right. And then after that, that's all. That's literally all you need to do to enable Smart Access Memory. So now you go to the top right, there you go, and it asks you, all right, do you want to save it? And then restart, yes. Okay. So that's what it's going to do now.
Yes, above 4 gig decoding also needs to be on.
Yes. All right, just waiting for it to reboot. My heart skipped a beat there. Marcus was afraid that we were actually breaking the GPU. No, don't worry about it.
Yeah, so somebody in chat, Khaled Ahmed, was correct. I needed to put higher DPI in and then scale it down. I'm like a noob.
Oh, okay, yeah, and in OBS you mean?
Yeah, so maybe I need to do like 144. Ooh, ultra sharp. Well, that's the wrong layer. Peter, you still remember what was it? What we used in the beginning? XSplit.
Oh yeah.
Didn't have like a Control Z, go back one step.
No. All right. So as you can see, guys, you can see my mouse pointer moving again. Yeah. I think I see some latency, but as in the capture, but we'll see. So yeah, the desktop is live again. I'm just going to open up all the programs I had open, which means MSI Afterburner, of course, for the on-screen display metrics. And Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I think that's all I had open. So nothing else changed. Resolution, I'll show you once I'm in the game, is still 1440p. Still running at, the monitor is still running at 144 Hertz. And then let's see if we get the exact same benchmark, what results we get. And again, this is with Smart Access Memory enabled.
So I'm going to move this away. Ah, come on. Hey Peter, maybe I can make my own FPS counter if I change the text here in real time.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Let's see.
So Sam should be faster. How much?
Well, that's what they told me.
We're probably doing it wrong.
Always. This is a live stream, guys. I'm probably gonna get minus 12 FPS here. No.
I didn't see Eric or Peter wearing green. No, then
no,
not allowed in.
Eric, actually, Eric was at some point considering buying one of those like one-piece condom suits.
Oh, are they called like that?
Yeah, or you know, a spandex suit basically, which only with a hole for the head, you know, but skin tight otherwise. And yeah, he was planning to indeed, like during a live stream, kind of like creep up behind somebody. You guys, of course, I would be able to see him, but you guys wouldn't, because then he'd be totally green, and then you know, pop out of nowhere and go like, ah!
Like after 3 hours streaming.
Oh, Eric is such a practical joker.
Hey, but I'm missing. We had some green cloth here, not?
Yeah.
Oh, Peter.
Yeah, I know. It's
against the wall.
Yeah, you're using it as a backdrop. Yeah. Anyway, guys, just to confirm to you guys, here we are again. 4040p native resolution scaling 100%. All the graphics still the preset ultra high, and just to double confirm. Even my most hated option, motion blur, yes, it's still on. Eric is sitting in front of the actual tag that says motion blur. Here you go.
Yeah.
It's on, okay, right? So it's like for like. It's completely the same. So now we're gonna run the benchmark again. Yes, we wanna run it. And then see what happens.
Yeah, we still do social distancing.
No, we do actually, yeah.
Yeah. I need to do like this. And then I can see a glimpse of Peter.
Yeah, exactly. We can. All right, here we go. But yeah, so after we do some benchmarks, I still have some cards here.
Somebody made a sticky of one of your quotes.
And these of course are not 6700s, but this is 6800 XT. Gaming X Trio, and a 6900 XT Gaming X Trio. So later on I can physically put them next to each other for you guys, so you can actually see physically the difference between them, which is quite a difference. And then I'm actually gonna disassemble or tear down
all three of them?
No, we don't have time for that.
Okay.
But the 60s, and we did already a teardown of the other cards, I think.
Yeah. Even when you were not here, and there was like a neutral agreement, Eric, you will not tear them apart, right?
Yeah. But you know, if there's one thing that's like a general rule here, is never leave Eric alone with hardware, because he's taking it apart. If you don't look for 2 seconds, he's there with a screwdriver going.
I'm enjoying that. Well, quite interesting. I think last week Michiel was opening up the Seahawk, and I don't want to say he never opened up a VJ car, but like it was a long time ago, because he's taking care for mainboards and water cooling and that kind of stuff. And well, he succeeded. It was quite simple.
We've got the results, Eric.
Okay.
Make another line. Make another line.
How many more benchmark are you going to do?
Sorry?
What else?
This was very specifically on to check out, okay, what does DAM do at the moment. So with SAM enabled, we see that the average FPS actually gets boosted quite nicely from 72 to 81. The minimum FPS, so the drop still remains the same for some reason. So, and I mean, you can see it in the graph here. You can see my mouse. No, you cannot see my mouse. Why can you not see my mouse? Wait. Mouse pointer.
Now.
Enable it again. Well, you can still not see my mouse. Why is that?
Well, I think we have something wrong, because can you maybe go to the top left corner?
Top left corner? Why?
No, okay, because if I click this layer, no, this is correct. What an...
I mean, oh, here we go. So now it does, that's weird. So, okay, whatever. This works. Here you can see this is the dip, because it like the lines kind of show you the consistency or inconsistency of FPS. And here you can see there's like a massive dip, which I guess there's something in the benchmark that kind of there's one point where it dips really low, and since it's the exact same dip and the exact same value as the previous benchmark, I'm guessing this is just part of the benchmark where for some reason it dips no matter what you do. But other than that, it's quite consistent, quite noticeably, the max FPS actually is lower. So it doesn't spike quite as high up as it did, but that's not a bad thing, I would say, because that does in the end mean that because of the max FPS is closer to the average, that means it's a bit more consistent. It doesn't quite, spike up and down quite as much.
So I think we need to invite Darren here. He says previous result is 6,072 frames in 85 seconds, and this is 7,032 frames in 88 seconds.
All right. So that's also strange, because that means that the benchmark actually took longer.
It's a 15 to 16% increase.
Yeah, I mean you're right, Darren. You're also the 1% lows indeed. So that like 1% low, 60 FPS. Again, not that bad. And the lowest 0.1% is 51 FPS. So again, these are all indicators of how smooth, how consistent is your experience. So how many like actual drops or spikes do you get? But on average, you can see that SAM does improve the frame rate performance for this game specifically, and I want to stress this a bit because I chose this game specifically because one, it's a relatively new game.
No. One, because you got a free game code.
No, actually I didn't.
Oh, okay.
But, well, I got one. I used one to show this indeed. Okay, but no, but yeah. So it's still a fairly recent title. So and it's also graphically quite intensive. But I also saw in other reviews that were testing SAM that this was a game that showed, well, the potential of smart access memory. This was the game which showed the biggest gain of performance when you enable it. So again, this is like a best case performance, right? But again, it's something that we just want to show you. This is a case that is possible. On the flip side, I've also seen some games that actually, if you enable SAM, you lose performance for some reason. So it's still, it's in the works, let's say. AMD still has a way to go on this.
Well, it's not only AMD.
It is looking promising. And game developers as well, obviously. Yeah. That's indeed also. So, but, they need to work together on these things.
And the big benefit of SAM?
Sorry?
The big benefit of SAM?
It's
free.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you just need a BIOS update to make sure. Yeah. Of course, not everybody can get this depending on what kind of CPU they're running, what kind of platform.
And possibly also the game needs to support it, so we don't know if retroactively the
games don't need to
support.
support it, you know. It's just more like a PCI Express communication thingy. But in the end, you know, free performance, who doesn't like this? And especially...
Well, you say that, it's a purely a PCI Express communication thingy, but then,
it's
you know,
yeah.
Why does one game benefit from it massively, being this as an example, and another game actually you lose performance? I mean, if it's just a PCI Express, if it's just a hardware thingy, then that doesn't make sense.
No, you're right. I mean, it has to do with the architecture of the game.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if it's clear, like, okay, if we do our game engine like this, we benefit more from this feature.
Yeah.
Anyway, free performance. I mean, and it's up to, like, what is this? 10? What did it say?
I mean, Darren said indeed, now it's about a 15 to 16% increase of performance.
Yeah,
I've seen benchmarks of people who got, and I think actually this scales a bit with resolution. So if you were to do this on 1080p, I think the same thing applies to video cards that use it. When you're dealing with higher FPS games and lower resolutions, I think the benefit is bigger. So if you're playing at 1080p, you might notice a bigger difference or a bigger boost of performance than playing, for example, 4K, where I think the performance gain is really minimal from what I've seen so far. But again,
Hussein is saying download more FPS.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That, exactly.
Yeah. So who doesn't like this?
Yeah.
In a few weeks' time, we will also demo this on an Intel platform with NVIDIA, because they also recently enabled this. Then we're also going to play around with it.
Yeah. So before I get into, like, literally dig into the hardware, I'll also just, you know, again, benchmarks are benchmarks, but I'll show you a little bit of the gameplay itself to see how
you want to complete your level.
Sorry?
You want to complete your level, your mission.
Yeah, always. I want to feel like a Viking a little bit, you know. Any day, every day you're not feeling like a Viking.
Can I
it's like a
remove the benchmark scores?
Sorry? Yeah, you can. Again, it was just to kind of show you guys what is possible and you know, one of the cases that we have right now. Practical example. So here you go.
It's the same save game like a long time ago.
Oh, I don't have any arrows. Damn it. Yeah, I know. But again, it's just, you know, walking around in the game. But as you can see, this is 1440p again with, I think, was everything still on Ultra? Let me check. I think so. I didn't change a thing, so.
Yeah, so Repo Man, very important question.
Yes, what?
How much RGB is on this GPU?
It's there. It's there.
Can we show it detailed cam?
It's difficult because there's like a buttload of
light.
Yeah, but as you can see here,
because it makes it faster.
Always, yeah. That's how it works, guys. But yeah, there's like this is the gaming design, of course. There's 3 stripes. Damn, this is hard to move this thing. Here we go. There's 3 stripes of RGB here, and also on the bottom side there.
Yeah.
And here on the side as well. You can't really see it right now
because
it's too light. But you can see the color shift happening here.
Yeah.
Like I said, you know, this room is so well lit. You have to do that in the studio, otherwise it doesn't look good on camera. But yeah. Yeah, also again, on ultra settings you get over 80 FPS pretty much on average in the game. Which again is perfectly playable for a game like, you know, an Assassin's Creed game basically. You don't need 144. You can probably get it by lowering some of the settings. But yeah, very playable on ultra settings. So RX 6700 XT being a 1440p ultra card, confirmed. Yeah, definitely. Accurate. And again, I just want to show you guys, well, you know, this isn't a benchmark of hours, but still, you know, even with this, and it's actually getting a bit hotter in this room, because we've turned the air conditioning off, or else you would hear a constant whoosh, you know, like a wind noise going on. Anyway, the GPU temperature is only up to 66 degrees right now, and it is being stressed quite nicely. So again, the TWIN FROZR cooler is very rightfully placed on this card, and the RPM also just 1100 RPM. That really isn't noticeable.
Yeah, that's maybe a very good solution. Alexa, set the studio to sexy lights. Oh, to sexy time. That's something else.
Barry White lights comes on and the lights turn red. Oh yeah. All right. Eric, another giveaway?
Yes, Inferno is asking, will you change the streaming time? No, actually, we're currently going live on around, like a few minutes around, 1600 CET, which means it's around, let's say evening in Asia. And Asia is huge, of course. So I think it's like China, Taiwan, that region.
Yeah, it's quite late there, though. It's like
11
10,
o'clock
11
now?
towards
it's
midnight.
16 plus 7. What?
Go ahead. Quick maths.
No, it's 7 hours. Yeah, it's winter time still.
Yes.
But that will change next week. Anyway, and also in West Coast USA, it's I think 7 a.m. in the
really
morning.
early. But East Coast, it's doable. You know, it's like 10-ish, 11 a.m.
So
so it's kind of like, you know, we try to find a sweet spot. And of course, it's also for us, it's kind of doable. It's within office hours, if you will. And to be fair, I mean, we are located in an office building. We stream from the office.
They know. We told them many times that around 7, like in
security comes and kicks us out.
Yes.
I mean, that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
So yeah. It seems for us at least it's a good compromise. But I can imagine for some people it's a bit of a hassle. Like either it's really late or really early, or
I can see that.
But you know, that's always the case for somebody. Let's be honest.
Yeah. And also, Peter, don't you think we will get in? I mean, now we stream at 4 o'clock CET, meaning a lot of NDAs are scheduled on 3 o'clock.
Yes.
I think most of Intel, Nvidia,
most major hardware
AMD
launches.
was 2 o'clock today.
Yes.
So 1 hour ahead of schedule.
PM.
And this also means that before this live stream, we still have 1 hour to see what the opinions are from people to see.
In this case, we had 2 hours. But previously
normally,
we had one. Indeed, so it was 1 hour before we would go live. So we would be scrambling, looking at reviews and seeing like, okay, how can we make sure we give a good overview of the information.
Yeah. Also, there are a lot of MSI reviews, so we want to give you some benchmarks from the media, which are done on MSI.
Yeah.
And sometimes there are issues or some drama. We also want to to report that to you. So if we are going to do this 1 hour early, it's impossible. And which basically means we should postpone this kind of live stream because today we stream on the NDA date.
Yes.
And
sometimes
in the future we also planned things like this, already planned. Cannot talk about it, NDA. This means we have probably a 1 week gap.
Yeah. And then by then, it's kind of old information. So
and somebody stole our samples probably from our desks.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's not like we have these samples just laying around and available at all times. We get them for a certain window of time, basically, that we have them available. And then we as quickly as possible, we will share them to other departments so they can, for example, send them to media or, to take them to do some kind of build with or something. So yeah, there's a hell of a lot that these samples are going through, basically.
Yeah. Peter.
Yes.
Show us the GPUs.
Oh, did you already do the giveaway?
Oh, Peter.
Did you forget?
Stop. We're first going to do a giveaway.
Ah, good idea, Eric.
Yeah, I forgot.
All right.
Like the memory of a goldfish.
Yeah, a deep fried fish stick.
Okay. Yes.
All right, so we have. I'll do it this time. All right, Eric? You already did.
It's easy to pronounce these names.
Easy peasy. So we have 2 new winners for the Watch Dogs Legion game keys. One of them is called Jeffo. Congratulations, Jeffo. And the other one is called Yukio. Also, congratulations to you. We'll send the codes out to you as soon as possible. We'll still give away more codes this stream. So be sure to participate in the giveaway. You can either go to the address that's above me, msi.com/2/insider, or click on the link that's being spammed in the chat by our bot every 5 minutes, was it?
Yeah, 5 minutes only on Twitch and YouTube.
Only on Twitch and YouTube, indeed. Yeah. So if you're watching on Facebook or on Twitter, Periscope.
Sorry.
If you want to participate and you're looking for the link, please join the stream on our YouTube or Twitch channel.
Yeah. Back to the chat.
Yes.
So now, show us the hardware.
Do I have to? No. All right, let's first make some space then, shall we?
Uh-oh.
Yes, uh-oh is right.
Yeah, this is uh-oh.
This is a live system, guys. I don't want to...
You're not doing okay, like this.
Yeah. I'm gonna short some cables if I'm not careful. Here we go. I mean, we put these builds together just for the purpose of the stream. So they're not like permanent things. They're just, you know, what we call test rigs, because it's very easy to, like a test bench, it's very easy to swap components. This is what you will see in most media reviews as well, by the way. All right, I'll just go with the card we're talking about.
That looked funny.
Here we go. I'll make some space here as well. Here we go. Yes, give me the close-up view. So, this is the box.
Maybe what put the camera a bit higher.
Sorry?
Or a bit backwards.
Yeah. Oh, this thing is... yes. What I really like about this, by the way, and I'm not sure how long they've been doing this, but this kind of sticker. This is like when I was younger, and even until a couple of years ago.
Many years ago?
Well, yeah, no, you were no, not many years ago.
Long time ago.
They didn't really, say on the box, for example, what kind of resolution this card is best for. So this is a thing I really like, and I think it's going to help a lot of people to decide. All right, I have a 4040p monitor. Which card should I have? So yeah, I think it's a good thing. All right. Again, I'm just going to open it up. It's like a live unboxing. Haven't taken this one out of the box yet. The other one I borrowed, the one that's on the bench sitting next to me, I borrowed from our technical department. Let's see. So, when you open up the box, there is a nice black envelope in there, as always, with the usual stuff. So that is a installation guide, a visual one with Lucky showing you in very easy steps how to upgrade your graphics card or replace it, and even how to run Afterburner, make sure you have the latest drivers, everything. So it is very handy. You have also a quick user guide here, which is well, a bit less visual, but still descriptive, and in many more languages as well. Damn, whoever folds these things, man, it's...
I hope a robot in the factory.
I'm happy I don't have that. And a thank you card, which basically also reminds you can register your product for easy access to support if you ever need it, or also to claim...
a new thank you card.
To claim, yeah, maybe, to claim any kind of actions or bonuses that are there. And of course also a little flyer here that shows you, hey, we have more products. Have you checked out our latest motherboards, monitors, and gaming gear? Again, it's just if you're looking for a matching setup to highlight, hey, we do more than graphics cards, for example. And there it is. Ooh, I can look at that. I can make the fan spin in the box without touching it. Anyway, so of course it comes in anti-static wrapping, anti-static paper, which is very reflective, as you can see. That's why it looks like see-through.
That green screen.
I'm quickly gonna put that away. And this is what you shouldn't see, basically. But for us, usually when it comes out of the factory or they send it to us, it's completely wrapped in plastic like this, protective film. So yeah, I'm gonna peel that off for you. But that's how you can see it. It really is like a thing. I never took it out of the box yet. And I'll just unwrap it for you. Let's see if I can hold it close to the mic.
Yeah, Peter is not a slow guy. I mean...
Oh, I know, yeah. I'm impatient.
Yeah, they're saying, do it slower.
You know what? I'm gonna try to do that on the, because the backplate also has one.
Oh
so
my God.
that one should be better. I mean, this was like, you know, all these corners and stuff. It's gonna be a bit more difficult, but I'm gonna try and do this one in one smooth movement. All right. Let's see.
That's too slow.
Oh, almost.
That's too slow. Did you take the serial number off?
No, there actually wasn't one on here.
Yeah, there was.
Was there?
Yeah, it was in the plastic.
Right, fair enough. Well, that's why you don't get that in the box.
Yeah, so maybe explain to everybody why and how.
How do you mean?
Yeah, you say you don't get it in the box?
Well, the wrapping that I just took off, normally that for you that's not in the box. It only comes in the anti-static paper. We get that because, again, it's a sample specifically for us, for internal testing and internal usage, basically. So yeah,
now, can you check the plastic you took off of the foil?
I already crumpled it up and threw it away, but let's have a look.
And then check if there's a serial number there.
Yes, there is.
Don't show.
Why not?
Yeah, then people can abuse it.
Okay, I'll put my finger over part of it, but yeah.
Yeah. So
it did actually indeed get pulled off with the plastic. So.
Oh, so it was on the backside.
Sorry?
It was.
I'm not sure if it was on the plastic or if it was torn off.
I thought it was on top of the plastic, like they made a mistake.
I might have to. I actually didn't pay attention. I was too focused on doing the peel, but I might have to rewatch the stream myself to find out, because I think it was visible what happened. No, actually, it's yeah. Wow, it's printed on the plastic.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, you never have this when you buy a card.
Yes.
You know, when you have the opportunity to buy a card.
Yes.
This is only for our sample, which comes directly from the factory.
Exactly.
Specially sample.
Yes. All right. So as you can see, dual fan. They are Torx 4.0 fans, though. With the how you can recognize them is, of course, the outer link between the fan blades. Let's see. Yeah, you have the nice design. As I showed you on the card, that's in the system, of course. Here is where you have some RGB stripes coming through here as well, which is similar to how it looks on, you will see that later on the TWIN FROZR, or the Gaming X Trio, the triple fan model of this design, I should say, because on this GPU there is no triple fan model. And of course here there is some RGB as well, and of course some Radeon branding on there. Dual 8 pins, as I just mentioned already earlier in the stream. So the Mac OC and the Mac non-OC will have the same. So all of our custom cards of the 6700 XT will all have dual 8 pins. For the thickness, well, I will also already mentioned that as well. As you can see, this is 2 slots, so this is almost 3 slots when it comes to the thickness of the card, which also means that the heatsink itself is quite thick. It's quite nice and beefy.
So what happens in the end with all these products if we unbox them and disassemble them? Well, we just throw them away.
Eric. Don't tease them. No, we yeah, like I said, we use them in like right now. I've got 2 other cards which are coming up soon, which I will compared to this one physically. So some of them we keep around for internal testing, for projects, like for example the special builds.
So Ruud and Peter sometimes join our live stream.
Our technical department, basically.
Yeah, they're from technical department.
Yes.
They also need, you know, they don't need each product, but they need most of the product in the end if there's some technical problem with a customer, with a system integrator, with a end user, consumer.
Or even just some optimizations. They will test and verify that it works, or they will indeed help to, well, solve situations where any possible problems are there. They will help to test, to confirm, see what is causing it, and then help to provide a solution.
They test new firmware compatibility, you know, the whole day running benchmarks.
Also, before the launch of products, they often also get a sample. They can test it beforehand to see if, you know, if for example, for graphics cards, very often they will look at the fan profile. So is it indeed, you know, do we strike the right balance between cooling and noise, or is the fan profile too aggressive? You know, do we get too much noise and the temperature stays very low, but really it doesn't need to be. So they will often give feedback like, well, I would adjust it a little bit one side or the other. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, TWIN FROZR return. Really good card. Nice thick, as I mentioned. Maybe I can show you the output as well. By the way, when you get a card out of the box, it will have these dust covers on the display outputs, and also on, for example, here the PCIe connector.
Just in case when there's a sandstorm.
Yeah, again, that's just for you know, to protect these things and to make sure nothing gets in there. Ooh. All right,
no
that one's gone. So as you can see, we've got 3 display ports and 1 HDMI. It's not really focusing on there, but
yeah, it's the clean screen.
We also have the anti-bending measures, as you can see here, which well, I'm going to take the card apart in a bit as well, so then you'll be able to see it. But yeah, it runs quite a while along the card. I'm just looking. Yeah, no, it does stop here because the heatsink here has a plate underneath it that connects the power components that are under there. Again, we'll show you that when I take the card apart.
Should I disable autofocus?
No, it's fine. It's fine. And the backplate on this one is actually metal. I guess maybe you could already see it from the shine, the reflection on it. It's not.
Take your spoon. I saw you drinking some coffee.
Yeah. I have some coffee, yeah, but.
And try to scratch it to prove it. No.
I mean, yeah. This is. It's metal, but you can already see it. You can also see it by there's like a small part here in this corner, which is like actually brushed. If it focuses on it.
Yeah, like this. No. Yeah, like this.
Yeah, you can see it. So that's where you really see it's metal, this one.
No,
and as you will also see on the other side of the backplate, once I open it up later on, there will also be thermal pads, of course, connected to some parts of the graphics cards where it can take on some heat. So that also means that the backplate itself will can become, well, I don't want to say hot, but you know, it will help to dissipate some heat. So yeah, it will get warm as well. That's what it's supposed to do. And it bends around the back here as well. I mean, it's a small detail, but I still want to highlight. So as you can see, some of the back plates in the past also they would just stop, and this one bends around the back just a little bit here.
And what's the reason for that?
No idea. I think aesthetic maybe, and also well, again, just to make the card look a bit more finished.
It does.
Yes, yeah. Maybe even when it comes to the airflow, to be honest, I think it's also got to do with some of the aerodynamics. Because imagine, you know, the air is being blown in here. Then, I mean, here's the heatsink, and as with all our gaming cards, you know, I'll highlight this again as well. You've got the airflow control here, the little
triangle.
Yeah, little triangles basically, so that will split the air up and steer it more towards the heat pipes, because that's where the heat is concentrated most. But as it goes down, then of course it will be also it will bounce up against the backplate, and rather than it being, you know, just going everywhere, this will actually steer it to go out of the sides rather than out of the back more.
So sees that Peeps is asking, why is the logo upside down on the backplate?
How do you mean? This one.
Yeah.
But
now is the card upside down.
Yeah, well, that is because normally in your PC, if you install it, this thing will head into your motherboard. So that means that, all right, follow it with me, it will go this way. But that means that this side is facing you. So you can see that this logo is the right way up. And if you are looking down on the back side of your graphics card as it is connected to your computer, again, like the motherboard is here, then it's actually facing the right way up.
And that's also why the serial number is there. That
that you can still see.
Well, it's not there.
Well,
I mean,
but
the location.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that you don't have to. I mean, some vendors and probably we in the past as well. You know, we put serial number on a very strange location, and then when, for example, for RMA or for some warranty or purposes, people are asking the serial number, and then you have to take it out of your PC. So with this, you can easily see it.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, I mean it's also got the wave curved pattern in the fins, as you can see maybe through the through the fan blades here. Again, this is also to reduce noise. So when the air hits it on the way down, it's less likely to create turbulence, so less likely to create noise. So this again to reduce noise, and at the same time it will also make sure, together with these other measures in the heatsink, that it takes away a lot of the heat that's being concentrated in here to dissipate it, to get rid of it. And as we saw in the live benchmarks as well, and if you see any media benchmarks, you will see it does a really good job at that. And really, two fans, yeah, I mean, with a heatsink like this and a design like TWIN FROZR, that's all you need. All right, so first, before I'm going to take it apart, because I will also take the bigger brothers of the card.
Our sisters.
Yeah, bigger brothers or sisters, doesn't matter. This is the RX 6800 XT Gaming X Trio, 3 fans. I mean, I can just show the box just again to confirm it for you as well, but I think you guys believe me on that. So first I'm going to show you the difference on that one. So here you can see, maybe, yeah, with the close-up view indeed. I mean, so the 6800 XT with the triple fan, as you can see, it's a lot longer. It's a lot taller, this card, the top one. And when it comes to the thickness, it's not quite as much difference, but the 6700 XT, being a dual fan card, does have a little bit of a thicker heatsink. I mean, both go well past 2 slots, so at that point it really doesn't matter that much anymore, and it is not practically for you installing it into the PC, probably. This is probably 2.5 slots, this is quite close to 3 slots width. And in terms of weight, I mean, yeah, the triple fan card and heatsink, yes, it's quite a bit more, it's got more weight to it. Which is, again, this is a 300 watt TDP card. This is a 230 watt. So that's also one of the key and major differences here.
So Peter, yes. You're talking about weight. Yes. What I'm going to do to our to-do list, what we need to follow up, I'm going to
buy a scale, kitchen scale.
Yeah, why not?
That's fine, yeah. I mean, again, we've got all the specs and the statistics on our website, so you can very easily look at it, but yeah, we can also put them on a scale, that's true. Looking at the back plates, by the way, yeah, this one has also a little bit like a flow-through design at the back, the triple fan card, the 6800 XT Gaming X Trio.
Focus, yeah.
Ooh, focus, you must. There we go. And also on the back plate it has some nice RGB, which the 6800 XT is just, well, I would say maybe a little bit simplified, as in it does exchange the back plate. On this one it's a graphene composite, still pretty good for heat dissipation as well, but this one is a metal, completely metal one, although it does not have the RGB strip here, but it still has plenty of RGB going on the other sides. And well, like I said, this one has a bit of a, because of the longer heatsink, you have more space to do something like this, like a flow-through design,
discussion in the chat, like we only need benchmarks and FPS, we need speed, and other people are saying we need design.
Well, it's always a balance, right? And everybody prefers something different.
Yeah, and one doesn't exclude the other one.
Yeah, we try to offer all of that. I mean, we did the benchmarks live performance at the beginning of the
No,
stream.
I'm talking about the cards. Somebody says it doesn't mean...
Right.
It doesn't matter how they look, you know, I just want a fast card.
Yeah. Well, that's why we have Mac. That's exactly for you. We have Mac, which is indeed, you know, it doesn't really... It has a nice design.
I don't want to say that. You know, yes, it's fast, but if you still want good cooling, this is the one you want.
Well, gaming is indeed better in terms of cooling. It's just a tad bit more premium. But, you know, Ventus and Mac are still pretty decent. Again, they just focus on the essentials. And they don't have things like RGB, for example. But they also don't have the latest of our cooling technology, which, again, just is a little bit better. So, in the end, it's just a decision. And we do offer some choice. Here...
One moment. I need to make somebody happy.
Oh.
He's saying, because today it's St. Patrick's Day.
Oh.
And Peter, you know what I'm going to do.
Hi, I'm many games. Nice. I'm many guys.
So, are you happy? Yeah.
Happy St. Paddy's Day?
Indeed, 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 indeed. So we're not wearing it.
Green enough for you?
Green enough for you, yeah.
All right. Well, the thing is, we can't wear green, like, ever on this stream, because otherwise we'd go invisible.
Yeah.
It would just be like a floating head, which, maybe we could do that sometime, Eric. Do you lose warranty if you put a water block on it? Dutch guy asks. Not necessarily. I mean, if you do, I mean, I'm assuming what you mean is you buy a card like this, and then you remove the cooler, you remove the backplate, and then you buy, for example, a heatsink, or sorry, a water block, for example, EK. Yeah, indeed. And then you mount it on there yourself. If you're going to do that, make sure you know what you're doing and you feel comfortable doing it, because, yeah, I mean, if you do ever get problems with this, with that card, and you send it back, even if you mount the original cooling back onto it, which I think you should.
Yes.
Because it needs to be received back in its original state, basically. And our engineers see, indeed, because there's like a little, I mean, Eric, maybe we can do the close-up here. One of the main screws on the back here, it does say, maybe it's too small.
Yeah, I think that's what it's saying. Oh, yeah. If you can read this text, you have good eyes.
No, it does say something like...
Yes, this is it.
Yeah, there we go. So I need to read the exact text myself.
It's
factory
like,
seal.
Yeah.
So it doesn't say warranty void if removed. I think in the past some of them did say it. Now it just says factory seal. And the point of these things is not to say, all right, once you touch these or these get damaged or broken, you have no warranty anymore. We can go back to the main view, Eric. That's not the point. But it will prompt our
RMA department.
Yeah, RMA department, basically the people who are looking at the card and checking, hey, what's wrong with it. If that seal is broken, they will indeed look like a bit closer about, hey, is there any user-caused damage? Because indeed, if in the process of installing that water block you accidentally or not damaged your card, yeah, then it's not covered by warranty. I mean, that's something that you take the risk of removing the cooler off the card, which is fine. You're allowed to do that. And as long as everything is all right, there's no problem. But if, for example, you accidentally hit a small component or whatever, or cause a leak with, for example, accidentally, you know, it can happen with your water cooling, and that damages the card. Well, yeah, then, I mean, unfortunately, that's what is known as user caused damage. And
don't be surprised. Sometimes we get like mainboards with a big scratch on there from a screwdriver,
yes.
like.
It's just really obvious.
Yeah.
And they still say like, no, it arrived like this in the box.
Yeah. Yeah, so Sir Farmalot. So if this one is broken, they will take a closer look. I think they will, you know, those guys, they know their job. Maybe should do a tour in our RMA center.
Yeah, I mean, we have been talking about, of course, at the moment we can't really travel, but once it's possible again, I think that might be interesting. I mean, was it 2 years ago? End of 2019, right? You guys, you and Mike were in our HQ in Taiwan, and you actually did some behind-the-scenes video recording of how they did certain testing and development, and it was quite interesting because you get to see things you normally don't see. Yeah. So yeah, if you guys want to look that up, I think it was called something like Exclusive Look Inside MSI's Headquarters. So if you're interested, you can look that video up. It's in our playlist of MSI Insiders. But yeah, like our service center would also be one of the things that I think would be quite interesting for people to see. You know, how does that work? You know, how do they do their job? Because it's not the easiest job in the world, I have to say.
Yeah. Official statement from Germany, RMA, as long as the new paste and cooler are up to the task, you're free to change it.
Yeah, I mean...
Not sure if that's true, but like what Peter said is correct.
I think you're always free to do anything, you know, as long as it's your card, you bought it. But if you break it in the process, that's on you. Yeah. I mean, fair is fair. Yeah, if you break it, that's the risk you take. So that's why I'm saying if you know what you're doing, yeah, it should be. You shouldn't be too worried about it. You could probably do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Peter,
I did have a haircut. Yeah, thanks. Somebody noticed. Damn, I was feeling like Tom Hanks in Castaway the last couple of weeks, and I was probably starting to look like him as well.
Because of the lockdown, all the barbershops are closed here in Holland, and now it's like...
A common joke here is also if somebody meets you says, "Hey, did you lose a fight with a lawnmower?" Anyway. Yeah, let's hope I get a tour there someday. Well, you know, we hope we can show you guys a tour inside, for example, our RMA center at some point. Show you guys, give you guys at least some insight in how they work and what they do.
So Computex, I hear Computex is going to be open for people to come in person. I don't know about that, but it's going to be a physical event, and I know a lot of vendors, including MSI. We said we are going to do a virtual event because it's too early. I mean,
it's tricky. You want to do a physical event, of course, because it's always better, but you know, you also want to take your responsibility, as in, you know, not take exceptional risk or put your employees or, you know, people who have to man the booth, for example, you don't want to put them into a situation where they are potentially at risk of getting infected. I mean, that's you don't want to do that. So yeah, it's a difficult question. I think everybody wants to go back to physical events. You know, you hear it a lot. But we have to wait and see, you know, how it goes, how the situation develops.
But also in Taiwan, I think you have to be 2 weeks in a
quarantine. Yeah, indeed. So if you travel to Taiwan at the moment, in Taiwan it's still pretty contained. So you know, they don't have too many cases there. Life is relatively normal there. You can still go to places, and then they still have parties and stuff like that. But you know, they do keep a close eye on everything. Like in certain areas and shops, there are like thermal cameras keeping an eye on, you know, if you have higher body temperature than you're supposed to.
They already had that like years ago.
Yeah. So they're kind of used to that way of life to a degree. But yeah, if you want to go there, and even if you have like a negative, you know, test and you don't have the disease, then you still have to get into a quarantine hotel for I believe indeed like 2 weeks, 14 days.
Yeah, 14 days. Yeah.
Before you're even allowed to get anywhere in the country other than your hotel that you are assigned to. So yeah, they do take it very seriously there, which has served them quite well so far.
Yeah. So, Digger Falco, yeah, it's very difficult to let you know how many FPS in Call of Duty. So, best to go out. There are a lot of reviews online and check how much you get for that game, for that specific game.
All right. So, the other card I've got here is a 6900 XT. So this is the big boy, the big Navi.
Is it really big?
Big Navi. Again, it's a Gaming X Trio. Damn, I'll just move these out of the way so I have a bit more space.
Maybe put them next to each other.
Yeah, I'll do that later on. First, I'll show you this card as well. And the easiest way to recognize that one is on the back of the backplate here of the GPU. It's got like the leaf spring, and you can see some tiny capacitors there. Which, if I take the 6800, it's closed. It does have the same flow-through design on the backplate. Also, this backplate is completely out of metal. And I'll first compare these two. Oh, these are big. Okay, let's do the front.
How many kilos? Good question. I would go to
I would
the
say
website.
at least 1.5, maybe 1.7. But if you want to know the exact number, it's on our product page.
I'm going to the product page. So I will just check 6900. Okay.
Yes, 6900 XT indeed. So as you can see, the size of the coolers of 6900 and 6800 is pretty similar. And the thickness, I think, let me see, I think it's pretty much identical. And it's not surprising because both of these, as we saw earlier in the stream as well, both of the GPUs are 300 watt, rated for 300 watt TDP. So they have a similar TDP, so it stands to reason that the cooling solution is also relatively similar. Maybe the one on
it's 5.6 kilos.
What?
Actually, it's the card is 1.5 kilos. Almost
okay,
1.6.
so that's a 6900.
6900,
yeah,
yes.
Yeah. And I think honestly the 6800 XT, because of I think the cooler design is pretty much similar. So I'm guessing it won't be that much lighter. It might be a little bit. And one other reason you can tell them, or one other thing you can tell them apart is by the power connectors. So the top one, of course, with triple 8-pin, yeah, that's 6900. The bottom one, and I know this contrasts a little bit with what I just said, that both of them are 300 watt parts, but yeah, the 6900, of course, like I said, our gaming cards will have a little bit of a higher power limit. At least you can unlock that in the programs like Afterburner. So that's why it has 3 power connectors, whereas the 6800, the bottom one, has only 2.
So next winner, James 1. So James 1, congratulations. In the coming days you will get a game code. Watch Dogs Legions today.
Yes, Watch Dogs.
You can still participate. Legion. Go to msi.com/2/insiders. I sound like a on repeat, like a parrot. In Twitch, YouTube, we have a spam bot with a link.
Here, by the way, you have all 3 cards together. So let me just check to be sure. Oh, I've actually got them in the wrong order. let me put them from big Navi to a little bit smaller.
Lightweight Navi to heavy Navi.
Something like that. So right here on this side, this is the, as you can see also again, 3 8-pin connectors. 6900 XT, 6800 XT, 6700 XT. So here you can see the difference in length and also a little bit in thickness. So again, also this 6700 XT, the dual fan, is a little bit thicker in terms of thermal design because it has 2 fans. So as a trade-off, we make the thermal design or the heatsink a little bit thicker, and that compensates because you create more surface area, which equals more cooling capacity as well. But for this GPU, it's more than enough.
Take it apart.
Yeah, is it time to take it apart? I'm just gonna see if I can adjust the camera so that we can see what I'm doing.
What's this red connector?
Red connector.
Is it a green screen issue or is it really on top?
What? What, these?
Yeah.
No, these are really on top.
Oh, we should make them black. Looks better.
No, you need to be able to differentiate them.
Come on.
Because there is one black actually. It's next to it, I think.
Yeah, I don't see that one, so this one should also be black.
Yeah. Well, normally you don't really see them anyway, because you know the thing you see is the back plate when you put it in your PC.
Yeah, correct.
Anyway, all right, let me just get rid of the 6900 and 6800. And then we'll
get
focus.
the iFixit kit out.
It's not an iFixit kit.
It's a hammer and a screwdriver.
It's a hammer and a sickle. Oh no, wait, this isn't Russia. All right. Again, guys, a quick disclaimer, we do this so you don't have to. We want to show you guys the inside of the card, but there's really no reason for you to ever do this unless you're experiencing problems or you're like very experienced with these things and you want to, I don't know, replace it for whatever reason or replace it with a...
So how much power, cool. Peter? The 6900 is like 300 watts, 6800 also, and this one is
230. At least that's the base rating from AMD indeed. So I think our card might maybe, again, I don't know exact values, but typically our gaming cards have a possible higher power limit, which you can enable or unlock with MSI Afterburner.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't know the exact number for, here we go. This is the one with the sticker, right? Woohoo!
Now you broke it.
Yeah, the factory seal.
Cannot return it.
But, you know, we can maybe replace it with the insider's seal of approval. Ha ha ha! Then
they will double check it for sure.
Oh yeah, I would. And then there are some smaller screws here which also help to, again, this card is really sturdy basically, so there's no twisting, no bending. And that's all down to how the card is constructed. So the construction of the card is also very, very premium, very solid. All right. So we've got, I think, one more screw to go, yeah. It's far less than the triple fan. No, actually, sorry, 2 more screws. Almost missed one. But it's far less than the triple fan cards indeed. So they usually had like, I don't know, 10 or 12 screws that I had to undo. Let me see, just to be sure. Oh no, actually, yep, no, we have some more screws, but they are actually, so some of the screws, you know, they go into the card from the back, through the back plate. Those are the ones I already removed. So they located here, for example, and there, and behind the GPU. But you also see some like almost rivets, so some here, but they don't have any, you can't remove them from this side. That's because if you turn the card around, let's see if I can show you guys this. Well, this is an example here. It's got a screw from this side, and then it goes through the PCB. So as you can see here, it goes through the PCB and then into the backplate. And again, this is also doing that at multiple places throughout the card is what really helps to give it that strength and rigidity. But I'm quickly gonna see if I can remove those ones as well. Those are a little bit more tricky to get to, but we should be able to manage. They're a bit smaller as well. Eric, small talk. Do some small talk.
Yes. How much power does it take? We talked about that. What are the cooling pipes made of, Peter? Good question.
Copper. Usually nickel-plated copper. Same as if one of our cards has a base plate for the GPU, it is usually copper with plating of nickel. And the purpose of the plating of nickel is to make it more resistant to any kind of corrosion. So you get the heat transfer properties of copper, which are, I think most people will know, excellent. But copper is also very, I don't want to say fragile, but it can very easily damage or, and it also, it's maybe sensitive to some of the thermal paste, which could influence the properties or again damage it or corrode it after a while. So the nickel plating really helps to protect it in that way. I think I can actually, I could probably already remove it. Is it there? Is it located there? The one I took out. The one I took out. Ah, no, actually I don't. We can't take the backplate off yet, but I think we could take the cooler off. So let's
Will we ever see video cards or graphic cards in the size of a CPU? So small form factor, not massive radiators, no fans.
They kind of are, and I will show you. Well, I mean, maybe we can do a comparison. But the CPU itself is like a little square die, right? It's like a.
Maybe. Shall I take the mini ITX card?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. The GPU actually is the same size.
Yeah,
it's the graphics card around it.
But I mean, then they can compare size.
Yeah, but the GPU itself, so the chip basically, is
you want me to take it?
Different in size. Sorry?
Shall I take that card?
Which one?
The Mini RX.
No.
Okay.
So yeah, just by wiggling a bit, I already dislodged the cooling, as you can see. Now I need to very carefully take the fan cables out, which are located here.
Thank you, Redwood Image. We do big time.
What do we do big time?
Sucks.
Oh. Well, sometimes. Oh, this is difficult. I've got no fingernails.
Yes, these cards are all based on the RDNA 2 architecture.
Yes. There we go. All right, so both of these are the fan cables. And now I will take the cooling off once more.
There is one corner of the GPU on? No.
What?
Yeah, I tried to...
Nah, you tried to scare me.
Yeah, I did last week as well with Michiel.
Nice try, old man. Now I'm going to... These are the connectors for the LED lighting, by the way. And I'm going to also take these out very gently. So I have a bit more freedom in maneuvering the rest of the card. Here we go. So now they're completely separated from each other. So as you can see, this is the heatsink and thermal design, and this really is where the weight is. And then this is the PCB with the backplate still attached. Hope I could take that off later as well, so you can see the thermal pads on there. But as you can see here, so the memory is located in the chips around the GPU. This is the GPU itself, and this is what I mean to say when you know, if you say, hey, when can we see GPUs the same size as a CPU? I mean, this size here, and this is not, you know, on a 6900 XT, for example, this will be a bit bigger. So this is not the biggest size, but still, this is roughly not that different in terms of size from a typical CPU socket.
Yeah, indeed.
I mean, Threadripper, for example, that's bigger because that's a huge CPU.
And you can compare the PCB with a motherboard. I mean, you need the memory around it, the roughly. VRM, power delivery.
Although the memory on a motherboard, of course, is you know, is divided into sticks, which you kind of you know, slot into into the board. But it also has all these, you know, power components like this, VRM design, as we call it, voltage regulating, and so roughly it is comparable. But of course, a graphics card has a very specific purpose, whereas a CPU is more of a, you know, multi-purpose processor. Right, so CPU, memory, chips. We have the power components here, divided into two parts. Here are, well, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 phases, and I think another 6 here. Yeah. So we've got 12 phases, it looks like. Again, power comes in here. That's why when I later on look at the cooler design, you will also see there's a some plate basically also touching some part of the power components here, and another part here, because really the things on a card that heat up most are the GPU itself, of course, the power components, and the memory.
Is this 7 nanometer? Yes, the GPU is indeed.
Correct.
The AMD GPU.
Yeah.
Do all the new graphics cards, no matter NVIDIA or AMD, come with the dragons on the components?
Not all of them, no.
So these are the chokes, and I don't know if this is also done in NVIDIA. I saw it before, but I don't remember what model. Yeah. But of course, each of those chokes are rated for different with different
capacity,
values.
Yeah, exactly.
So on NVIDIA, or maybe even on a more high-end card, you might need other chokes.
All the components are pretty much customized and chosen specifically for, all the components. So chokes, for example, or these capacitors here, or the driver MOSFETs that you can see here. All of them, and all the other smaller components as well, they're all individually chosen by our designers. This is a custom design card as well, so by our designers and our engineers indeed, to have the right balance on the card to make sure it works well. The power delivery is clean, is stable, is reliable. So yeah, these are all kind of, I don't want to say tailor-made because it's not made, but tailor-chosen, I think is a better way to say it, for this card in particular. And so for other cards, they might have different choices of components. And
sometimes you see that, for example, we develop a PCB and on the high-end model all the MOSFETs and all the chokes are occupied, so all the phases are occupied, but we will use the same PCB for a lower GPU, and then there are some chokes and components left out.
Yes.
And then you might think, oh, this is this is bad. The person in the factory was sleeping. He forgot to put something on.
No.
But it's actually all done by machines.
Yes.
And that's just, I mean, the lower end GPUs don't need so much power, so you can leave some off.
Yes.
So yeah, that's how you share PCBs. And also, I mean, this is also something what we do, but also NVIDIA has it sometimes, or AMD even, that they have, like I think even 6800, 6900 use the same PCB.
Could very well be, yeah. It's not uncommon because it's the same thing with GPUs, you know. If you have, for example, a 3090 or a 6900 XT versus a 6800 XT, it's based on the same chip. But they have, for example, disabled, it's based on yield rate. Not every chip is perfect. So based on how perfect it is and how many working components that they get out of it, they can determine if it will become a full fat chip, as it's called. So basically the top end, 6900 XT in the case of AMD, Radeon. Or, for example, if there's fewer cores functioning, it might make its way into a really nice functioning 6700 XT. So yeah, it's based on the same process, and I'm not even sure if I can say it, but I think you can say.
I think it's a different GPU die.
Yeah.
I don't know the name, but
indeed, but you know, in general, that's also how that happens, and it's just, you know, a matter of efficiency. If they didn't do that, for example, the whole process of making them would be a hell of a lot more expensive as well. So it's not a bad thing that they do that, as long as, of course, the products themselves make sense and work well, and they do.
And it's now, sometimes it's like confusing, like, hey, there's a big shortage and why are these companies bringing new cards on the market? Yeah. But of course, things are already planned and they also need to move forward. But sometimes it's also I want to say the less quality, the high-end die, which they perfectly can use for a mid-range or entry chip.
Mm-hmm. I think we need to hurry up, Eric. I just saw the time. Anyway, so heatsink.
I hear security knocking on the door.
Yeah, exactly. A heatsink with the thermal pads that cover the memory chips there and there. These are thermal pads that cover the power components on either side of the GPU. So as I mentioned, it's kind of divided up into two areas. So this is covering part of those components, and this is covering the other part. And
sorry,
yes.
Peter. I like beer and stuff. Where do you see the Steam wallet image? Maybe on Gleam? Because today we have something else. Let me check. Yeah, Peter, continue.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe it was showing up somewhere.
No, Gleam.
Oh, wait, maybe on our, I think it's on our landing page indeed. If you go to msi.com/2/insider, then indeed we have like a static image there of our team and like the background that we usually use in our live stream. And I think there it does include indeed a Steam voucher giveaway,
cool.
which we've done in the past a lot, and we will do again.
Okay, so next week it will be gone.
Yeah. And here you can also see the heat pipes running through. And then again, this one uses a base plate here. And this is a nickel-plated copper base plate. So that's why it doesn't look like copper color, but inside there is actually copper. And that's, you know, that catches the heat from both the memory modules and the GPU, and then basically transfers it to the heat pipes, which transport it across the heatsink for dissipation, for cooling. Now I'm going to see if I can disconnect or basically take apart this Yeah, so this is one of the anti-bending strips as well. So as you can see, it runs quite a length here, and it's really thick. And again, it's metal. And I'm going to take this off because if I do that, and another screw here I just noticed, I can take off the back plate, so I can show you guys that.
What is Edwin asking? Can you make a stream about water cooling CPU and graphic cards?
Oh!
We did last week.
Yep, you must have missed our stream last week with Ace Tech. So yeah, if you want to have more information about that, we've got good news for you.
Yeah, are the graphic cards in China, like in our factories, put together by hand or by robot? It's a mix. It's a combination. Yeah, it's a mix.
So the PCB, for example, is done mostly, or I think entirely by robots, the placing of the components. And the heat sink and the assembling of that, I'm not 100% sure, but I think that might be partially done by, indeed, by workers. Oh, there we go.
Chaos Greg 77, does a water cooling config from MSI exist for the Supreme, 3070 Supreme? Do you know if EK has a solution for that?
Not sure, no. I haven't checked. Power? Haven't checked, but it could very well be. I mean, they are very likely to have some of these things. All right, I've managed to disconnect or take the back plate off the PCB. So this is the rear of the PCB.
We need like applause sound effects for this.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you can also see on the rear of the PCB, you know, where the memory modules are located, the rear of the GPU with all the tiny transistors on the back. You can see the traces running to, for example, the PCIe lanes here. Yeah, it's always quite cool to see that kind of thing. But also where the power components are located. I mean, it's almost like a mirrored image without the actual components, but you can pretty much see where they're located on the back. And they'll have, you know, you have all kinds of small transistors on the back as well for power filtering and small resistance and transistors. But yeah, what I really wanted to show is, here we go, the back plate. And so this is the rear of the back plate. This is a film basically that's how's it called? It doesn't conduct electricity. So this is in case any of these components accidentally, by whatever reason, ever touch the back plate, which of course is metal. So metal not only conducts heat quite okay, but of course metal also conducts electricity. So you don't want the components to touch the bare metal. That would be bad. So that's why this film is on there. And then where these
that is bad.
That is very bad indeed. That's like fireworks bad, not the kind of fireworks you want. But yeah, these thermal pads here, that's where, for example, this is the rear side of the memory and of course the rear of the GPU itself. You can see the imprint of where the transistors push into it, because it's quite soft. It's squishy. It's like you know, chewing gum before you start chewing it.
Oh, that's where my chewing gum is.
Yeah, I know. And yeah, this then you might think, well, you know, if this film is between that between the backplate and these thermal pads, that's not good. But if I take a small part or a corner off, you can see that actually underneath these thermal pads, the film is gone, because then indeed it can transfer heat from the back of those components, like the memory in this case or the GPU, to the surface area.
Did you see the question in the chat, Peter, or were you just?
No, it was just
okay.
Anti-zappy.
That was a question in the chat.
Nice. Yeah. Are there cutouts for the thermal pad? Yeah. Yes, there are. So I don't want to say anti-static, but it's it's non-conductive, I think is the more accurate way of saying it indeed. Because I mean, static. To be honest, all our PCBs, motherboards, and graphics cards alike, they are coded and treated for ESD, I think it's called, right? Anti-static. Yeah. Oh, sorry, no. ESD is not anti-static, but it's indeed so to resist static electricity. Actually, during one of our earlier videos in the tour in our HQ, we showed a room where they can test static electricity. So they have like a gun with a point basically, and if they get close enough, you know, the sparks will fly basically of static electricity. So they actually test it and they just zap it with static electricity to see if it will damage the board. Again, it's always best to avoid it, but yeah. it shouldn't be as much of an issue anymore for the past couple of years already.
ESD.
Yeah, oh sorry, electrostatic disc, that's the thing, yeah, sorry.
Yes.
Sometimes I forget the...
You're getting old.
The wording, yeah, exactly, yeah. All right, yeah. So I hope this gives you a nice inside view even of our graphics card of the RX 6900 XT Gaming X. Yeah, we showed you guys a lot of things that, well, hopefully you never have to see, but it might be interesting to see. Well, again, you know, ideally you just put the card in your system and you enjoy it, and that's it. And you just see you enjoy the outside of it and the performance.
Indeed.
That's what, you know, normally.
Yeah.
So, Eric, one more giveaway?
Yeah, sure.
Let's do it. Also, let us know. I mean, you know, of course, we've made this kind of, or I've made this kind of a format. Whenever there's a new graphics card, I show you the performance. I try to show you the inside as well. If there's anything else you'd like to see in upcoming streams with maybe future products, let me know. I'm always open to seeing if we can include new things.
Drop it in the comments.
Drop it in the comments or drop it in the chat. We'll monitor it. All right, one more winner, and his name is Sees Dead Peeps. I hope you don't actually see Dead Peeps.
Yeah, he also had a question earlier. Oh, probably more, but I picked one of them.
Anyway, congratulations. You also win a game code for Watch Dogs Legion.
Next week?
Yeah. Next week, Ja will be back talking to you.
Like back? Is he away?
Well, he's not here right now, isn't he?
True. That's correct.
Anyway, so Ja will be here. Okay, Ja will be here, and we promise we confiscated his knife, so no more no more cutting into chairs.
Yeah, I saw traumatized people in the chat.
I was one of them.
Shocked.
I was one of them. No, anyway, it was interesting to see. But yeah, next week he's going to be talking about the MAG 275R series, which are really meant to up your game when it comes to esports, to give you really the competitive edge, and he's going to tell you all about it. And answer any and all questions that you have about it. You guys prepare this week and make sure you have some very difficult questions for him. Oh yeah. Can you put the chat back? Oh, sorry. I'm just curious to see if anybody had like some really nice ideas for I don't know, you know, for my next week. Like maybe I also need like an ESD gun to demonstrate on Eric and then demonstrate on the PCB of a card. You know, how about that? Yeah, indeed. That was the black connector. But yeah, I'm going to talk with our R&D if we can make the other connector also black. No, there's probably a reason why it isn't. There is for sure a reason. You have to keep them apart. This is probably the only manual part to do in the factory, and then it's like black, white. Yeah, here you go. Can we go back to the? Oh yeah, sure. Indeed. So there's one. Oh, sorry. Wrong one. Yeah, there we go. So indeed, so for the fan headers, for example, there's one white and one black. Yeah. Now, why do you think that is? There is a reason for that. It's probably to just make it really easy for somebody to identify which one is which. And I think the same goes for these two. Yes. You know? Anyway. But they're the same. So black left, black right. Yeah, easy but I mean, the components they connect to it are not the same. One is one is a different LED than the other, and here as well. You know, one is the left fan, and the other one is the right. So if you mix them up. Anyway, these are the challenges we have. Will a taser work? Ooh, I like where you're going, Repo Man. I like it. Let's see if we can get a taser indeed. Let's see what happens. No. Then I know. Eric, you can wear your green suit. You don't have to worry. Bye bye. See you next week. Once the taser starts, then you know. Bye bye.